can't stand up to us, then they all might stand up. Those puny little ants outnumber us 100 to 1. And if they ever figure that out, there goes our way of life. It's not about food. It's about keeping those ants in line.
We do not forget. Expect us.
This is a message to all supporters, a message to all freedom fighters, to all dissenters, to all forgotten, a call to all intellectuals, to all journalists, a call to all freethinkers, a call for intelligence. This is a call to all poets, a call to the strong and the weak, a call to all young people, to the wise, to the astucious. We want you to join us. We are on the streets of Tokyo, in the skyscrapers of New York, in the lanes of Paris, in the cellars of Munich, on Moscow's icy places, on the cobbled streets of Dublin. This is a call to all people, to the youth. Join us in the fight for freedom of information. Search for us, and you will find us. We are among you. We are you. Everyone you speak with can be a member of Anonymous. We have no leaders, only an orientation. We have no targets, only results. You cannot stop us because we are an idea. We cannot be eliminated because we are invisible. If you try to mock us, we will mock ourselves. If you try to slander us, we will accept the defamation. We are the king's jesters with daggers. We are the dancing bear which tears to pieces the laughing mob. We are Anonymous. We are a legion. We do not forgive. We do not forget. Expect us, just as we expect you.
councils of government, we must guard against the acquisition of unwarranted influence, whether sought or unsought, by the military-industrial complex.
1, 2, 3. All right. Welcome to Anonymous Bites Back, episode 150. No, 152, right?
It is 152, but it says 151 on the stream thing. Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
That's because they deleted one episode.
Oh,
That's right.
Did I really do that?
you delete
Yeah,
them?
we've had a few come up deleted like over time. I was going back and looking at some of our old streams, and yeah, it's kind of spotty on certain ones. I think they've taken back. If we discuss coding, yeah, they take those down.
I mean, like 3 or 4.
We discuss coding. That's it. Just coding.
Just coding. They don't like that.
We're all supposed to be coders. Once we lose our jobs, are we all supposed to be coders?
Once automation, then sure.
And the code.
That'll be the only jobs left. Then they'll get AI to code itself.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure self-replicating code is really a thing now.
Yeah, that's really a thing now.
Yeah, it
I was
is.
just about to say that.
You're being replaced as we speak. All right, to our listeners, just in case you didn't know, we are all machines. You know, when it asks,
Yeah,
are you a robot on there? We click yes. Yes, I am.
Yeah, when it pops up, you know, that little CAPTCHA thing that says, "Are you a robot?" You might as well just say yes.
Yes, sir. Yes, I am.
So I guess AK is, he's going to say some stuff that's pretty important.
Commands the Rams.
In regards to Iran, there was recently 290 CIA officers that were arrested and detained by Iranian forces, and the U.S. has recently just responded. It's not public, but the U.S. has recently responded by sending 2 U.S. carriers into the Mediterranean, which it hasn't done since 2016.
Yeah, I mean, they've been. It's weird that they're doing these buildups. Like, you know, you can't go to war with the entire world. And I mean, we're at Iran, North Korea, South Korea, Syria. Iraq and Afghanistan, we are still there. We want to go to war with, like, we were throwing rocks at Germany. We want to go to war with Russia. We want to go to war with China. We want to go to war with Venezuela. Like, you cannot go to war with everyone.
Well, here's the thing. I heard, first off, somebody sent me a video that said this, and then I had to confirm it with a source. I was told that the U.S. has been bombing Iranian targets in Syria, which that happened before the arrest of the CIA officers, and then they put 2 U.S. carriers right there next to Iran.
Well, we played all sorts of games in Syria. So, I mean, we pretended like we were fighting ISIS, but then if Iran fighted ISIS, then our goal was to blow up Iranian bases or try to start shit with them. The Golan Heights is another, like, game that we play. Well, it's part of Israel, so we have to attack the people that are there. It's definitely not part of Israel. But we used all of that, like, no man's land in gray area to play games, to try to see if we can get Iran to do something that gives us an excuse to go to war.
Yeah. Our whole goal in Syria was basically to fund the rebels who were Al-Qaeda and ISIS.
That's what moderate rebel means. Is ISIS.
Moderate rebels, yeah.
Yeah, they hide it, but moderate rebels.
One of the greatest terms ever. Anyway,
terrorist organization is what moderate rebel means.
So what they did,
not so moderate, no.
Yeah, they're not moderate.
Not moderate at all. This is actually pretty spicy.
Yeah, no, they've never been moderate. So what we did was we created a proxy war. Once again, another proxy war, and we utilized allies like Qatar, Saudi Arabia, Turkey, to funnel weapons into Syria. And they did this so they could aid in the overthrowing of Assad's government. And then Russia and China get involved, backing Assad. And then the U.S. is a little bit more careful in what it's doing. But, at the same time, there's documents being leaked that's saying, oh, yeah, the U.S. is funding terrorism in the Middle East.
Well, I mean, it's not even that hard to see. Go and look at any picture of an ISIS fighter, of the moderate rebels, of the terrorist organizations in the Middle East, and they're all wearing U.S. military body armor. They've got M4, they've got M16s in their hand. They've got, it's all our equipment.
I just remember years ago under the Obama administration, seeing one of the generals say, "We accidentally just airdropped weapons to ISIS."
We did that.
Are you serious?
No, we did that like 3 or 4 times where we accidentally dropped box loads of ammunition and rocket-propelled grenades and fucking the works. Yeah, sure.
No, yeah, but this is just one big article where it said, we accidentally just airdropped weapons to ISIS, and I was just like, you accidentally just did that?
Oh,
who were you airdropping them to?
That was praying at that moment, and literally weapons fell from the heaven. Like, it doesn't get any better than that. Please, God, let us. Oh, wow, it is literally raining M16s.
Yeah, we already knew this from the WikiLeaks leaks too. I mean, WikiLeaks pretty much exposed all of this and already said that the USA is actually responsible for the creation of ISIS and the rise of ISIS. And
in fact,
I mean, you couldn't have. To be honest, you couldn't have done anything any better if you were doing it like on purpose. Like somehow ISIS happened accidentally. But like everything that we did, even if it wasn't on purpose, was so absolutely misguided and stupid, right? It couldn't help but create warlords in ISIS. There is no other way funding psychotic, random murderers and drug dealers because you created a power vacuum to try to undermine a completely different country. Like, my God, you guys have gone about this in the worst possible way. Like, we know that you did it on purpose.
They've done it multiple times. I mean, they've done it with the Mujahideen, with, the whole armed resistance against the Soviets. They did it in Libya. I mean,
Wait, did it cross all of South America?
Yeah, all across South America too. Yeah, it's the same story over and over again. I mean,
it works. Just keep doing it.
Oh yeah, you undermine the government there. Show up and say, "Hey, does anybody want any guns?" Yeah.
But it's cheaper, right? I mean, it's cheaper to fund these groups than to send your own army. So.
Well, no, you're going to send your own army eventually, but this is a win. This is like a win-win. So first you make the money from selling them the guns clandestine, right? These are black projects. They don't come out and say, hey, we're selling it to the Taliban. So you make the money off of that, and then you get to make the big money when you come in to fix whatever problem you've created, right? So it's win-win. You get paid on both sides of it. And now, like, even better, when that's all done, you can bring the equipment back and sell it to police departments to oppress their people on the ground. High fives all around, guys.
Now, you want to know something? Before 9/11 happened, when Hillary Clinton was a senator, there was an email sent that has no from or to sender. It's completely redacted. I have no idea who sent it. Obviously, it's to Hillary Clinton, right? But it says that. Yeah, I don't know why they redacted that. That didn't make sense to me, but they did. This email was released by the FBI. They probably didn't realize that this email was even there because it should be classified. What it says is that Israel wants the U.S. to overthrow Syria and Iran.
Oh yeah, I mean, I don't even know if that is.
Before 9/11. This is like.
Did they need to have a secret email for that? Like, come on, guys. We all know the plan. That's like writing taxes on the inside of your hand at a fucking thing. Like, you should know, right?
Yeah, but this is before 9/11, and as you know, General Wesley Clark said that 10 days after 9/11, they decided they were going to invade 7 countries in 5 years.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Well, yeah, they were revealing the plan to you. That's
the plan was revealed in Hillary Clinton's emails as a senator
Oops.
First off, she wasn't even Secretary of State at the time. She was a senator.
Yeah, what, you just send courtesy emails about your illegal dealings around the world? Like, you just, even if she's not involved, you know, to send a CC to fucking
Well, that was at the end of the Clinton administration. That's why she would have gotten something. She was still in the White House. Boy, Bush didn't get in there until a little bit later.
No, this was
But that was already
2001.
the plan.
Yeah, this is 2001. So she's just a senator at this point. She's not.
Yeah,
doing
she's a
anything
senator.
right
She wasn't in the White House. No.
Yeah, but that plan has been there. I mean, this has all been war gamed out like 30 years ago.
Yeah, this is 19.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
Wasn't
we've been
Sudan
trying to
on the
play
list,
this
too?
game with, what's that?
Sudan wasn't that one of the 7 countries
Yes.
on the list?
North
Yes.
North Africa,
Sudan and Somalia.
Somalia and Sudan. We have never been able to deal with the bloody nose that we got from.
Well, Sudan
Somalia.
doesn't even have a government right now. They have the military that's standing in place of the government.
Yeah.
But you
And
need to
it's-
look at the geopolitical reasons for that, because during the Iraq-Iran war, Sudan, Syria, and Libya, for example, all 3 were allies of Iran.
Yeah.
In the area.
Well, I mean,
So
and
it's-
I still think they are. They show. I mean, they share so much culture. We have went through and broken the world up arbitrarily. So I mean, across North Africa, the cultures are very similar. You know, they share a lot of mores inside of the culture and ways inside of the country. And you know, Libya, Iran, both are a part of that in North Africa. Top of Egypt. All of that. So we sometimes get confused of like ancient Egypt compared to what Egypt is today in North Africa, which are very
Egypt
different
is
countries.
Mexico of Africa. I'm sorry. It really is.
It's like there's these wars have been planned out, and all of them. Same with the reasons to go to war and the tools that they need, the Patriot Act and all of that. These things are played over and over and over and over again, and expect us to handle them like any different. When it comes to Venezuela, right? We even like hire the same people that fucked up everything else that we've done in South America.
Elliot Abrams, come on,
Yeah.
man. Like, seriously? You couldn't find a better person?
No, they found the perfect person. Like when you look
You're
at
right.
this,
Yo,
like,
you're so
you need-
right.
You need war criminals. He's top on your list.
He's proven
Yeah. No, you're right. Yeah, you're right. He's
But this-
proven
Abrams
he
gets
won't
put in-
snitch.
gets-
He
well,
won't
it-
whistleblow when you say that, go and invade a country. He won't whistleblow about it. No, he'll he'll follow orders.
We broke this we broke this yesterday, right after. If you guys remember, just in Venezuela, they had an incident where they came out and the current government had ran over protesters with
It's an armored
personnel
vehicle
carrier.
that has a water pump. That has a water gun.
Water cannon on the top,
Yeah.
right? So they showed this video of the government forces turning around, running over these protesters and taking off. Well, we get a video from a lady that took video from the street about 20 minutes before that shows a clandestine operation of the whether it's Tiger Squad, Blackwater, whether
Is that
it's
the one
CIA.
is that the one where I saw the National Guard going against its own National Guard and they were taking people out?
You can see the U.S. backed troops, soldiers, mercenaries, whatever they are, steal this truck from the government forces, drive it into the protesters, and then turn around and take off. They ditch the truck, a little bit down the street. But it was completely a false flag done by U.S. Special Operations. That has all the hallmarks. And because you have plenty of people that have video of it now, it has all the hallmarks of Abrams. Oh, my God.
Really?
Yeah, so I mean,
I think I heard about this from somebody else this
like,
week.
I'll post it back on there because I posted the video of what happened on there. And first, and that story has disappeared from the corporate media, like immediately disappeared. As soon as we posted the actual video of what happened, the entire story just evaporated. But
yeah, I think that they failed in Venezuela. Like there was a meme going around where Juan Guaido was basically talking on the phone to Elliot Abrams, and it said, "Elliot, are you coming? Are you coming?"
Yeah.
Yeah, he's not going to show up. No, the other thing that was interesting about that truck running over those people was They would censor videos like showing Christchurch and some of these other massacres. That's not to be shown to anybody. And yet, all these MSM were showing that video of people getting run over. Like, that's
and
okay.
it was fine.
You see how they censor certain things. It's like, death and
No,
all,
that
it's not
was-
bad.
that
There's
was-
certain things they want you to see.
That was a false flag operation, followed by its normal propaganda run. So they wanted to paint it like the current government, ran over a bunch of protesters. And look, the government has all sorts of problems, but they didn't do that. That was your weird clandestine operations, your weird infiltrator and instigators running over protesters to show that the opponents. It's the same thing that we saw at Standing Rock, same thing that we saw in Ferguson. Right, where you send the police down to burn shit up.
I remember that.
To prove that the protesters are violent. No, you're violent. You're the one that just ran people over.
You're the one that just fucking burned down a building and tried to blame protesters for it.
You burned down that guy's fucking gas station and forgot to check the ATM across the street. They got video of you doing it. Like, it was the exact same thing. This lady just happened to be recording the protest outside her window and caught them, like I said, it's all
Tiger
the
Swan,
hallmarks.
right? Or the whatever company they're going by now.
Yeah,
It's called Operation Freedom.
Yeah, Blackwater I don't know if they have the contracts there yet, but that doesn't really matter. That's for us on the outside. They're
paid mercenaries for the United States government.
Yeah, that's what's important. Whether they're
here's the thing.
Blackwater or
Blackwater's
Tiger Swan.
Tiger Swan, G4S.
Yeah, they change
which
their
used
name
to
every
be
6
Whack and
months.
Hut.
Yeah.
So
to get away with war crimes, you
doesn't
almost
matter.
have to.
There's so many different contracting firms that can go in and do an operation like that. So
You know who else uses G4S is the Portland City Hall and their main building. They use G4S.
Yeah,
a lot of
if you can believe that,
a lot of them use
They won't use their
G4S
own
or Whack
police.
and Hut. Right. A lot of them use G4S or Whack and Hut, formerly Whack and Hut, as security services because of their past. I won't go into that any more than that on the air, but yeah.
I don't know. There's just a lot of shit
All right, yeah,
about
sure.
Venezuela.
I'm back.
you know?
But no, these there is no reason why. So you have to have a congressional and active Congress to go to war. But as long as you're sending 5,000 mercenaries instead of 5,000 troops, it's okay. I don't understand.
Yeah, no, yeah, that's what they're doing now. I mean,
I don't understand how they're even having a easy time getting in there because I know that Venezuela is turning away journalists in the air.
Well, this is what we're hearing back from pretty much everybody. So these guys are infiltrators. So you don't in the amount of things that are going on. They look like law enforcement. They sound like law enforcement. These are trained infiltrators. That's what they do. So the people that have talked to these guys say that there was people with weird accents, that they sounded like they were from Miami speaking Spanish and not from Venezuela speaking Spanish. But there was a group of people that came in, and by the time they knew what was going on, the operation is done. That's how these guys work.
Do you think that those were the same guys that dressed up in the National Guard uniforms that started shooting back? You think they might not have actually defected?
I think chances are.
Yeah, because they were doing some pretty stupid stuff. Like I know that if you are going on a military coup and then you are showing your faces in a video, I don't care what kind of operation you're doing. It's kind of stupid because you're still stuck in the country.
Well, yeah, these guys were masked up. I mean, it was your standard, snatch and grab. They just needed the truck to make this one quick statement, and they didn't realize that that there was somebody watching from one of the top windows.
Oops.
Whoopsie. And you can tell that entire story, it was everywhere, right? They were running it nonstop. This is proof of the violent regime, blah, 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 blah. There was the immediate statements from the White House and from all of those, reconsidering military force, blah, blah, blah. And then as soon as the actual story came on, oh, whoops, sorry, it was our mercenaries instigating violence again. Ha, ha, ha.
Oops.
Yeah, my bad. Sorry.
No, we accidentally just paid people to go into another country and kill their civilians.
Yeah,
accidentally.
yeah. Whoops.
You
This is what happened. This is what happened to do with that war criminal you have running operations in Venezuela, would it?
Go ahead.
They probably came from Colombia, to be honest.
Well, I mean, there's plenty
Because
of
you
places to
remember-
cross the border, and I mean, we're thinking, that you would cross the border at a normal border crossing, or something like that. If you were a journalist and doing things by the book, there are plenty of ways back and forth across the border of Venezuela.
Oh yeah, through Colombia to Venezuela, it's literally. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, it's just a walk.
Yeah.
So I mean, these guys put on military clothing in the middle of a riot. You don't notice it. They can slip
Right.
in and out. They speak Spanish. It's not quite as difficult as you might think.
No,
They're
it's literally
sneaking into the
if you
Pentagon.
don't go through the roads, you just go through the jungle. They don't have any fences going through the jungle.
And I mean, they
but what
look
I'm
like
saying, is that I'm saying that the soldiers or the mercenaries were probably from Colombia, because months before, I reported that this whole cover-up story of the U.S. Southern Command had a secret meeting in Colombia with the Colombian officials. And I was told by a source that they were preparing to get ready to go into Venezuela,
Do
or
operations.
to
right.
to do not invade Venezuela, but to do a covert operation to overthrow Venezuela's leader, Maduro. So what I'm thinking is that the mercenaries are from Colombia.
And not just from Colombia, probably also from Ecuador, right? Because that's directly connected to Colombia. And at the same time, we're dealing with this whole Assange thing, who is very highly connected up in Ecuador. So he could actually leak stuff about them.
Yeah.
That's very true, actually. That's very true that they could use Ecuadorian mercenaries as well.
Yes, oh my God. If you are having a secret meeting with mercenaries, the CIA, and Colombian government officials, nothing good is happening there, people. Nothing good is happening there.
Well, as far as I know, the CIA wasn't there. It was U.S. Southern Command. That's
the
what I was
CIA
told. But
CIA.
maybe.
Regardless of what's going on, there's a problem. In Venezuela, I see it, and other people see it. Their own military are shooting weapons at their own citizens.
Well, I mean, that's what governments do. There's no difference between what Venezuela's doing now and what they were doing at Standing Rock, what they were doing at Bundy Ranch, what they were doing anywhere. Tyrannical governments shoot people, right? The only reason that they're upset about it is because they're a tyrannical government that isn't selling them oil.
I mean, it's true.
What you can say.
Go ahead, Mark.
One second. What you can say is that, of course, this current government is also very bad, right? But do you really want to replace them with something that is likely to be even worse? Or do you actually think this country deserves like a real revolution by the real people there?
Well, the thing is that the people, their own
You just
people, have been
you
trying
just
to do a
hit what I was
revolution
gonna
for
say on the nail.
I've been watching the Venezuelan protests off and on for I think 2 years now, and they haven't done it on their own.
Yeah.
And so, in Venezuela, the only people that have guns are gangsters, because I think they took away our last guest that was from Venezuela. They told us that they took away the guns in the 90s. So I don't know.
They're saying like
they could do a
7 years
revolution.
ago.
Huh?
They're saying like 7 years ago. I guess like the final hammer, where they really finally took them away.
Yeah, that might be.
But yeah, it shows you what happens.
I don't know if they have the capacity to do it on their own, because literally it's like, guys throwing rocks at people with machine guns. Who's gonna win?
Well, you can do it. I mean, it's like Ceausescu, the Romanian revolution. If you get enough,
Yeah, when the Romanian Revolution,
you
that was
just storm buildings and burn it down and
India,
knock people over, man.
So
they can't stop you.
Yeah, I mean, look, India breaking off from colonial England. They did it in numbers. Like, that's the deal. When you have, I know we go back to the Yellow Vest movement a lot, but that's something that the Yellow Vest movement in France has managed to pull off that nobody else can do it, right? That you've got the army, the French Foreign Legion, like there is the police that are willing to beat their own people, but you've got this huge amount of people that are calling in sick, that aren't playing along with it. And it has to take that, that complete top bottom. It's not that the military is taking over; it's that the military is standing with the people. And yeah, I mean, I don't see that going on right now. I mean, I don't. It's one of those, we get into that, the devil you know and the devil you don't know. Everybody that the U.S. government supports in there is pretty much set up to fuck the Venezuelan people over. That's what the U.S. does. We're not interested in let it benefits us. So, I mean, take that into consideration. Whether your current government is good, bad, or indifferent, we're worse.
Yeah. No, that's the thing. Like, you don't know. And
I'm not comfortable because honestly, to me, a Maduro is worse. We're not angels, but we can certainly do better than that. Even if we stick in one of our puppets.
Well,
it's usually better than that.
Maduro didn't even. There were supposed to be a post-election where they were supposed to, have an actual vote on who was supposed to be president, and that never went through. And the guy, they have citizens where. They're literally eating out of dumpsters and garbage cans. And
oh yeah, it's horrible over there.
He can't. The problem is that there's not food. The problem is that their money is hyperinflated, and if day to day you don't know what what 600,000 Bolivar will buy to the next day. I heard it's like 100,000 for a bottle of water. So
yeah.
I agree that the situation's bad, but I also, so that's the excuse, that their money's inflated and whatever. What's our excuse for the 300,000 people that are going to go hungry tonight in America? Right? They got to eat out of dumpsters. They got to eat out of trash cans.
Yeah.
Yeah, and another thing, they might hope that it will be like a U.S. Puppet government, but what if it will be like another ISIS there? Like... What if that's the goal? I mean, like if we just talked
about
the
Taliban. I mean, our record is so horrible. Like which dictator or puppet that we have put in has ever turned out good?
Yeah, seriously. It's literally we install a puppet and then we overthrow that puppet and put in another puppet.
You have to go back to the 50s and 60s, maybe the 70s was kind of the end of the era where we had like some authoritarian government in there that was our puppet, and things were still okay. It's been a while because we went full Islamic terror and all that after the 70s. It's just, slash and burn.
Well, if you remember years ago, actually, Israel was a terrorist state.
Well, Israel still is.
It still is, but you know what I mean. But I mean, it was like ISIS. Like it was literally like ISIS years ago. If you remember.
When was that, during the 90s?
The things that they were
when they went into Lebanon,
things that they were doing, the clandestine things that they were doing were definitely terrorism. You blew up a bus full of kids. That's fucking terrorism.
Yes. Yep.
So there's no other way to slice that, as well as like, there was the weird connections between them, the IRA, like the terrorist organization Circle was
Robert Maxwell.
Giving training and expertise out to other terrorist organizations, which made no sense.
They run them all. They're the only guys that are worldwide that can fund all these people. It has to be a government doing it. You can't get.
Oh yeah, single people can't do that.
Yeah, you can't do that. A big billionaire could if he was truly rogue, but that's bullshit. There are none. They're all bought off.
Speaking of terrorists, I heard the ISIS is having money problems. You hear about that?
ISIS is having money problems because Saudi Arabia is not funding them anymore.
Yeah, I heard that they were going to cut all of their paid the soldiers that they're paying. They're going to cut their shit in half. And all of a sudden, when I saw that article, Baghdadi showed up, and he's in Iraq. I
thought he was dead.
Everybody thought he was dead for 5 years. He's fucking alive.
Surprise!
They wouldn't lie to you.
They said he was dead.
Yeah, the Russian. Yeah, he's not dead.
5 times.
He's alive.
There's been a couple of the terrorist leaders that fucking.
Oh yeah, and you want to hear the weirder part? I also got a report that
Were they resurrected?
ISIS was spotted in Congo.
Yeah.
Like an ISIS flag.
Well, Africa quarters in Morocco, but I didn't know that they were in Central Africa. That's
Oh no, they're all over. Yeah, they're all over Africa. Africa is infested, 100%.
Hell, they're in the Philippines.
Yeah, I know they are big in the it is big in the Philippines.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, anywhere that we've kind of created these nightmares is very likely to move to ISIS, to, people that are willing to fight against the U.S. terror. I mean, it's hard to, to rationalize, the nightmare that we've created and our enemies that we also created. It's just, it's hard to even comprehend how you get to that situation.
Yeah.
Stop giving them guns. Stop selling them guns. How hard is this? They don't want to kill you.
Only
Sell them
13
guns.
congressmen, when the whole Stop Arming Terrorist Act by Tulsi Gabbard was
You
was
had to
put
have
into
them
Congress.
stop arming
Only
terrorists.
13 of them. Only 13 of them said that they agreed with Stop Arming Terrorists. If that doesn't say something about our government, I don't know what does.
Yeah, where it's like that.
Well,
You have to
define
pass
terrorists. You know, I mean,
Yeah, you have to pass.
I really don't. I mean, honestly, depending on what side you're on, they consider Kurds like terrorists. I personally don't, but it just depends on who we're fighting. The Kurds are either our allies or they're not.
Well, that's the deal. There is no difference between a terrorist and a freedom fighter. It's just perspective.
Yep.
So I mean, when it's the Great American Revolution and we're fighting the English colonial powers, burn it down, terrorism all the way, bombs, explosions, fucking small guerrilla warfare, the works, and we high five each other for it, right? Every single one of our founding fathers was considered a terrorist at their time, right? And we take huge amounts of pride in it, right? But that's only perspective. If you were sitting on the English side, they are definitely terrorists. You blew up English. You blew up. Ordinary English civilians minding their own business, working in their homes, in their colonies, and you went in and killed them in the middle of the night. You're a terrorist.
Yep.
You insulted the king. I mean, come on.
They actually said in the U.S. that the founding fathers were considered extremist.
Oh yeah, 100%.
This is the DHS coming out and saying that. Yeah.
Well,
I forget when. A few years ago.
Well, that kind of surprises me because most of the founding fathers were Masons, and I believe they had this kind of shit planned out before they thought about the revolution.
Yeah, yes and no. Like I mean, all of those organizations to some extent, especially the Freemasons. It's not the first time. They're always on all sides of the war, but that has to do because power can be consolidated in single lodges. Right.
Yep.
So, I mean, one lodge can stand to make a huge amount of money, and the fact that your lodge misses out, well, man, wrong place, wrong time.
It doesn't matter as long as the guys on top get their money.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah. So, I mean.
Yeah, as long as the warmongers.
When some of these organizations, their histories are so very, very long. This isn't the first war. This isn't the last war. They're only. So I mean, it's hard to tell sometimes, but yeah, there's certain groups that certain individuals that plan all of this shit out.
Oh, like what's that guy? Adam Weishaupt with the International Baking Cartel.
Jesus, bad people.
Well, I mean, that was
people.
His idea was sparked from globalists that were the globalists or the what is it called? The one world government or whatever. That they thought about that 200 years before he was alive. So
yeah,
it's not really anything new.
That plan comes from Babylon.
Something like that.
No, it does. It comes from Babylon. It comes from
Nimrod and
Nimrod.
the plains of
King
Shinar.
Nimrod.
Yeah.
Yep.
He proclaimed it from the plains of Shinar, isn't it? It's a Shinar directive.
Yeah, it's sad that you can never get when people proclaim stuff and have these moments of vision with God, you never get a second opinion. Right?
You're like, yeah, God told me to kill all these people. Are you sure that was God?
Yeah, can I talk to him real quick? Because I feel like
I feel like that's Satan.
Yeah, I could be talking to the wrong side. Look, even when you look at some of the biggest organized religions of the world, how come you guys have infinite detail about what happens when you die, about death, about hell, right? You can tell me every little rock, stone, and detail about hell, but you can tell me no details about life. I think you asked all the wrong questions.
You know what's kind of weird is that you brought up all religions. In the last month, there has been a terror attack on 3 major religions within a period of 30 days.
Yeah, I
Isn't
think
that crazy?
we're having a
Yeah, we had the
we're having a
synagogue
terror
in
on.
Poway. We had
Yeah.
we had the fucking New Zealand gun that guy
Against Islam, yeah.
the Sri Lanka one, and the FBI
Everybody.
did another guy in Los Angeles. He was a dumbass, and you know don't get me wrong, the FBI caught a fucking retard because he was asking online for people to make bombs for him. But this is an idiot.
Obviously,
Okay,
you know.
for all
Yeah,
the idiots that there are 500 guys who don't need to ask directions on how to build a bomb and buy it from the FBI. So there are.
Yeah, what did he post it on his Facebook? Hey, how do you build a bomb?
I'm
For a
100%
friend.
certain. Yeah, he was. He probably asked on Facebook, in some like terrorist fucking group and said, "Can anybody make me a bomb?
something called-
I'm gonna
something
go kill a
called
whole
the
bunch of
Great-
people."
The Great Terrorist fucking Forum. Yeah, you typed it into the top of that. That's not an FBI watch
Well,
list right there.
No, he
The
he
great
saw the
terrorist form.
he saw the link in his Acme catalog.
But you know what doesn't. You know what surprises me is this guy was. I think this guy was 11 Bravo in the army, which means I think he was infantry, and he was asking for directions, or he was asking somebody to make a bomb for him, and the bomb they gave him is a pressure cooker which wasn't hooked up. Don't you think he'd be smart enough to like look to see if anything was hooked up before he tried to detonate it in Long Beach? I mean, like,
No.
I mean, that's an upgrade from what they did in the 1993 World Trade Center bombing when they
Yeah,
gave
so I mean,
active
the idea,
bomb powder to Ahmad
actual
Salam.
parts to them. Yeah, so I mean, I don't. But I don't like. Yeah, I could see because I mean, if you've had any experience with IEDs, yeah, pressure cookers are used quite often. They weld them shut, and that's how they make the bomb.
Yep.
Fuck. I mean, that's not.
I mean,
That-
you
the
can make a
fact-
better bomb with shit under your sink. You know what I mean? Like,
Well, I mean, that's the thing. You're an idiot.
yeah, he's an idiot.
Hey, he did some black pipe.
Yeah, anybody that's making bombs is a fucking.
It's like,
idiot.
dude, you could go to the gun store, get some fucking black powder, add some more chemicals in it, and put some.
Oh, just stop!
You know?
Everybody stop!
What's the ratio, Tyler?
No, you're not allowed to say this stuff on air, Tyler.
Tyler, you can't say that. No,
Did
stop.
you say charcoal?
Oh my
This
god.
stuff goes against YouTube policy, I can tell you that.
What night do I need?
It's charcoal.
Well, we're banned completely.
Yeah, we're
the
banned
channel's
forever.
gone. The
We're
channel's
banned
gone.
forever.
Jesus, you had to do that. Oh,
No, we have to
man.
give this disclaimer now. This is all for just educational purposes. And you can
No,
find
it is not for educational
YouTube.
purposes. That is what I'm telling you.
Jesus Christ.
Whoops.
Here,
Oh,
even,
God.
even the disclaimer doesn't work anymore.
No, the
It's gotten
disclaimer
all the way
doesn't
up
work.
now.
You're fucked.
Look,
There
there
are
were two
thermite.
more on the same day, guys. On the same day as these mass shootings, right? As these these have been going on. On the same day, what is it? University of North Carolina or the Carolinas? Which one was that? Like, there was 3 fucking mass shootings on the same day.
Yeah.
And now,
Yeah,
like,
it-
you have to kill 10 people at least, or you don't even count it as a mass shooting. Like the one in the Carolinas didn't even make the news because they were, the other ones had way bigger body counts.
Well,
No, it made
but
the
when
news.
Tyler said,
I saw
when Tyler talked like about the different attacks on these religious buildings, what immediately popped in my mind was the whole Notre Dame fire too.
Yeah, that might have been
Yeah.
the first attack too, for sure.
Or, yeah, no, maybe it was lighted.
I mean,
Yeah,
they
like,
said
it was
here,
arson.
there was a guy who was arrested for trying to burn down a church with kerosene and a lighter.
Oh yeah, I know a
Um,
little bit more about that. Okay, so that was something completely different.
Yeah,
Upon
it's
investigating
different.
this guy,
Okay.
okay, if you're familiar with the black metal crowd, which I do listen to a lot of black metal music, so this guy was into Varg Vikernes, and Varg Vikernes in the 90s had done a bunch of church burnings, and everybody thought it was like it was a glory to Satan, but it was actually a political stunt for Varg because he believed that the Catholic Church had built upon Nordic ritual sites. But this guy was doing it in homage to what Varg Vikernes had done. And everybody thought it was some sort of racial thing, but it could be because a lot of Varg's lyrics in his early recordings were kind of like white power kind of shit, but
See,
no.
now what I got to say to that is that it's a hell of a coincidence that the Notre Dame church burned down, and then this guy got caught trying to do the same thing. I don't know. It looks really, really suspicious. Either it's a copycat crime, or it's a potential failed false flag where he got caught.
I mean, if you look at anything in the black metal community and you see a guy with the match with Varg Vikernes kind of shit, it's a meme that kind of goes around the black metal community. Like, haha, nobody's going to do that. And maybe this kid just took it too far.
So what are they like responding to, like the churches built on farm, or what is their like?
According
like that, or what is the? All old churches are built on old holy sites. I mean, is this not known, or what? Like, I don't understand the point.
The Catholics did it, yeah. I know that, but as far as the churches, I'm not sure at all.
Every single one of them, all of the churches, the old churches in Europe, are all built on old holy sites. They build where you all came and worshipped.
Pagan holy sites.
The reason that the Vikings went to war with England did not start because there was Chinese on the English homeland. The Christian church was pushing into the north, into Norway. They moved to this place called Lindisfarne, which is a little tiny fucking island out in the middle where there was a holy site. They built a church there, and with the church, they brought all of the normal church trappings, so like the gold chalices and plates and all of this stuff. The Vikings had warned them to stay the fuck off of Lindisfarne. This isn't your land. I don't care whether you're oh goodness, what are they?
A monk?
To
go out and convert people. You're a help me out here, guys.
You were cutting off for a second.
Yeah.
So you just lagged really bad.
Yeah, sorry guys. They were warned to move their church off of Holy Land. Stop building it, stop bringing your stuff, right? We don't want any of whatever you're selling, and they refused to do it. When they raided the church, they found all of this gold, and then we're all like, hey, we'll hit the next fucking church. There's got to be more gold. And that actually turned into the Viking raids, but it originally had to do with them pushing up and building these churches on holy site.
Well, then I guess Varg
Interesting.
Varg made his point in 92, But this kid, I don't know.
But yeah, especially Ireland, all of the old, the old pagan sites. There's churches on every single one of them. They built them specifically on there. We'll kick down your altar and we'll build our altar there. You know where to come and pray and worship, right? You just move to the same place. But all of those churches are on holy land, right? Or on ancient lands. That's why anytime that they do excavations, right, they find all sorts of like ancient treasures that are non-Christian the farther you dig, because a lot of those places have always been spots of worship.
Yeah, Terrence, that is the Roman Church doing that, and you also know like why they are doing this, because the Roman Empire already did this. They adopted the local religions and they embedded them into their own religion, and they did this, and they continue to do this also.
That's where they got that's where they had to incorporate the Holy Trinity, because the pagans were like, "What the fuck is this? I don't pray to one God, I pray to many of them." And then they're like, "No, you got three gods." Okay, so they're like,
that makes sense. That makes sense, because otherwise this was weird.
Well, I'm not joking. That was with the what is it?
Well, that's how you bring them into the church. You adopt things that they.
Well, that's how they got the saints in it too.
The
saints were also considered by the pagans gods as well.
Well, it helps people. Humanity has a hard time rationalizing that everything comes from one deity. Good, evil, male, female, everything, the bad and the good come from one entity. So like we like to say that Christianity is a monotheistic religion, but that only works if you've got, the Holy Spirit, Jesus, and the Holy Ghost, his son, Mary, Joseph, all the saints, all the you have to build this, all the prophets, these are gods and demigods, and I mean we already have seen this. This is like all the other polytheistic religions. And a lot of that is because it does. The angels, right? You've got all of these extra, demons, angels, spirits. You've got.
Are you sure it's monotheistic anymore?
Yeah, the Nephilim, right? So the angels came down and had and taught magic to taught magic to man and made giants out of it. Now that doesn't
Hercules giants, right?
Yeah,
Hercules
the Nephilim.
Giant.
Yeah, that doesn't
Yeah.
make sense to like your modern day Christian, but that is Christianity. Right?
Well, they
That's
don't. You know,
all
the modern
Torah.
Christians don't recognize the Book of Enoch like they do in the Torah. So that they tend to disregard it because they're like, none of this shit's make any sense. But the Book of Enoch describes it very well that man was taught all these. Well, in the Book of Enoch, it literally says that man was
Magic.
all of this shit, like how to make swords, technology, and
Oh yeah,
magic
Yeah,
from
yeah.
demons.
Giants.
From demons. They called them fallen angels, but they were demons.
Well, but they landed on Mount Hermon. See, it matches too much like a UFO story. So that's the problem with that book. All right.
But again, that's
We
why
can't
you,
have
that's
that.
why you have to like. That's why I really, it's one of those where, well, can I mean, I'm not saying, okay, I understand you're the holy man, you're the one that gets attacked on, but can I like stand there so I can at least listen in and figure out what's going on? Because God, this story sounds bad. So you just talked to God, yeah, and he said I don't have to murder. Well, first he told me I have to murder all my kids, and now he's telling me I don't have to murder my kid. Yes, but you have to cut off the end of your penis. Can I please just talk to God real quick?
What does that have to do with my penis? Why,
Yeah,
I'm
I
pretty
don't
sure that
understand
conversation
why-
came up.
What's my
Like, Abraham,
private
are you
parts always
sure?
have to get involved?
Are you sure I have to cut off my end of my penis? Well, yeah, to prove that you love God. But I already love God. I don't have to. I don't. This doesn't make sense.
Oh god.
I made you in my perfect image, God's perfect creation. Man, I need you to cut off the end of your penis. But I thought you made me perfect.
Yeah, you know, it does contradict writing, you know, in Leviticus where they do say, it does says that man shall not scar his body.
Everything but...
Yeah.
you understand,
Let's see, there you go.
Except it says thou shalt not kill either, but I need you to kill your firstborn son.
Yeah, there's actually, I do remember reading that. I remember reading where God told the Israelites to murder some people because they wouldn't circumcise themselves.
Yeah, look, cut off the end of your dick or we're
Satan.
going to murder you. All right, man, fuck it, murder me.
I think you were listening to a false prophet.
Yeah, okay, dude, whatever. It just had to be a hard sell, especially in the beginning. Who do you worship? I worship the mighty Thor, Odin, and all his warriors. We need you to cut off the end of your penis and turn the other cheek. What?
Fuck you.
This doesn't sound fun.
No, that does not sound fun at all.
When do we start the drinking? You get to take one drink of wine to symbolize my blood. So we're not getting drunk? This is a stupid religion.
See, that was the
fucked up
problem
for 3
Jesus
days
had. See?
celebrating the last God. This is messed up. When do we start the
No.
orgy?
Well, you know what happened with Jesus? He'd be talking to, 10, 20,000 people, and then when he was through telling them what they had to do, he was lucky to have 10 or 12 people standing there. They're like, fuck this, man. This guy's nuts, man.
Well,
We
no,
ain't
dude,
going to do that.
there's a free barbecue afterward. You're not taking the whole, we got both fish and bread, y'all.
Got to give up everything we love and act right. I mean, what pagan savage would go for that? That's not how they live.
Yeah, I'm not digging it. Like, not by that story. I'm not buying whatever you're selling.
I'm not going to do it.
Yeah, I think we're like way off topic, but
Oh yeah, no,
Yeah.
we went way
definitely.
down. We lost
Let's
so
bring it
many
back,
viewers.
guys. Let's bring it back.
Hey,
Let's
we
bring
went
it back.
Yeah.
let me see, what else do I have? Do we get
We got to give the Assange updates. That's like top
Yeah.
on our list of.
Yeah, so
of
Julian
things to talk about
Assange
tonight.
was sentenced to 50 weeks this week, and his extradition hearing is on May 30th. You know, like it's not looking good either way.
And
That's
what they charged him
preliminary.
with something.
That's preliminary. The last one's June 12th.
Well, they charged him with what? Bail jumping for no
Yeah.
crime.
Yeah.
What was the crime
Yeah.
that they were jumping bail for?
So he was given a
Well, there was-
maximum sentence of 1 year, but of course he already is in jail for 2 weeks, so they gave him 50 weeks.
What I really
It seems
found
like so much longer than that. Wow. Like it seems like he's been in there for, forever for the amount of fight that we've been putting in.
Yeah, it's shocking.
yeah.
Now there was a while that we were expecting him to be arrested, so we were already, with the whole live stream aimed at the embassy and stuff. So, yeah.
But remember, John, you know, this 50 weeks, you know, there's a lot of stuff that'll happen when this is over, you know.
Well, I mean, I think they have to get at least what they, their plan is to try to get, him charged and, in prison before before the election.
Yeah, I was going to say, because the elections
done.
will happen, and at the end of the 50 weeks, and depending on which whoever's in the seat, the will determine kind of how, not 100%, will kind of determine how the rest of his proceedings will go.
Yeah, because then the easy out is that Trump handles it, and then they play this game where they don't know how to get you. You've been arrested for a crime that doesn't even fucking exist, right? That they know is a kangaroo court, but then they act confused, like they have no idea how to get you out. Well, we can start the appeals process. No, just let him the fuck out of jail.
But how does it work with the U.S. government? Are they capable to pardon someone? Like,
the only one who can pardon is the president.
Well, it depends where and how they charge him.
See, the problem.
Well, they're charging him. They're charging him with the CFAA, a CFAA charge for hacking, and that's one of them that we know that's there. That's a minimum of 10 years.
Yeah, but is somebody I
know will be
somebody that's been found guilty at a military tribunal.
Nobody's been
Obama
found innocent.
Chelsea.
Yeah, it doesn't. This whole thing works against the government. See, what both parties haven't figured out is that 80 to 90% of people agree that Assange, is the freedom fighter and all this. So it works against the government. No party can gain from championing what they're trying to do to Assange. It's stupid. It's not going to work for either party.
Yeah, it's going to make them look stupid in any way. I mean, but the CFAA charge will probably be dismissed because A, Julian did not commit the crime. B, when what they're saying had happened, it's well documented that Chelsea didn't know who she was talking to. Half the time she was communicating, and nine times out of 10, I believe it was the guy who killed himself that was helping her, trying to what was it? It was Chelsea.
Adrian Lamo. Yeah,
he killed himself last year. That was the main guy who was talking to Chelsea when these hacks were going on. So Julian really didn't have a part in that. So that charge will go away. But the rest of the stuff that I don't know about that he might be charged with might land.
Well, and that doesn't change the fact. They will straight up lie if they have to. Look, this man is dead. He can't defend himself.
Exactly.
So they will come up with private communications that were between this and that you don't get to check, and there's a gag order. So Adrian, Assange can't even come out, or Julian Assange can't even come out and and refute it because there's a gag order, right? So there's all sorts of games that they play, and honestly, I don't. If they put you in somewhere like
that's what John Karaku said.
There aren't any real. There's nothing you can really do about it. It's that no man's land. U.S. law doesn't apply there.
That's the scary thing. Yeah, I mean, like what I found really, really disturbing and hilarious at the same time was the judge said that to Julian that he doesn't get to decide how the Swedish police did their investigation, and that he shouldn't have jumped bail. And what I found really, really disturbing about that is that Anna Arden fled to Palestine after there was allegations that started coming out that she was connected to the CIA, and she herself, one of the women who accused Assange, she stopped cooperating with the police.
Well, because her cover was blown.
If they if they never served him, and the charge goes away, there is no bail jumping. You were just
bail jumping is a fake. I mean, it is a kangaroo court, right? I mean,
absolutely.
That's the equivalent of charging them with with resisting arrest. What are you charged with? Resisting arrest. Well, if you didn't have a reason to arrest me, what is there? Do I get a bonus for not resisting your illegal arrest? Like, do I get something special for not?
That's so true.
Everybody resists arrest. You should resist being arrested illegally. Like, that's such a stupid thing if that's all you charge me with. If you don't charge me with an actual crime, then your arrest was illegal and I have every right to resist it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. The problem is, I think he jumped bail in the UK, and even if Sweden dropped the investigation,
But the warrant was defunct.
Yeah, that's the thing. Technically, it's invalid.
Yeah, the warrant was completely invalid. So you just charged Julian Assange with jumping bail of an invalid warrant?
Yeah, of something that doesn't even exist. But it's the equivalent of resisting arrest, right? What did you do? I asked the officer, why are you arresting me? What crime am I being charged with? He hit me in the mouth and put me in the back of the car. You resisted arrest. Right? That's just the random shit that they charge you with that isn't real. There's no real crime there. And in this case, right, the crime that you were trying to portray disappeared. It dissolved as soon as your CIA or FBI asset was exposed.
Well, that's the thing. She was connected to
It was definitely
white.
Yeah, it was definitely an intelligence cooperation there, because her argument is that it was not consensual sex because he didn't wear a condom. But you agreed to have sex with him before that, so...
No, that's not true. No. That's the other woman. Anna Arden, she claimed that Assange's DNA was on a condom that was broken. Okay.
Isn't that Trojan's fault then?
Wait, not done. But when they did the DNA test for that, her DNA and Assange's DNA wasn't found on that condom.
Then you don't have a case. I mean, the evidence tells it.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. There is no case.
But that doesn't stop. Once you're dealing with a corrupt government, I think we got to get that out of our minds. Like, we try to deal with stuff as if you were dealing with a just system. This is a completely corrupt system. You look at, like, Leonard Portier, right? He's been in jail for most of his life. He never shot anybody. The FBI shot their own agent. You fast forward to Red Fawn, right? She didn't have a gun, didn't bring a gun, didn't touch a gun, didn't shoot a gun. You brought a gun, tried to shoot her, right? And then made up a false police, got caught doing it, and you're still charging her, keeping in jail, harassing her, bail jumping for something that never happened. And this is when you get into the kangaroo court, the show trials, all of it, it's all fake. They just need something.
That's like the cover up with Bundy too. Remember the Bundy shooting where the agent shot one of the Bundy.
Where he got out of his truck and was looking kind of squirrely, so they filled him full of holes.
Well, no, he didn't get out of his truck. They shot at the truck. There was a video of it that was online for a short period of time, but
I know that they ran a roadblock or something like that. I know that. I know there was a weird story, because after that it goes into the government's Predator drone footage, and you're like, why were you using a Predator drone against civilians? Do you have a warrant to it just went into all of that just disappeared. So I don't know if
do you have a warrant for that Predator drone?
Yeah, I totally think it's a great idea. Well, their excuse is they're armed, but they've got bombs and weapons on them, but the weapons and bombs aren't armed. And being from the Air Force, so what, you're telling me you have to push one button to fucking murder us? That's cool. What's the difference between armed and unarmed? What is that?
They had. I know they had weapons. I don't think they had bombs, though. I think that's.
Sure, they don't. Ask Black Wall Street.
No. No. I'm talking about the Bundys.
Oh no, the Bundys didn't. I'm talking about the Predator drones, but there's a little bit of a gray area on whether they shot at the truck.
Oh, I got you. Yeah.
When they blew through the roadblock,
the windshield.
And the thing, and when they that started to come out, originally they showed the drone footage of the truck blowing through the roadblock. And then people are like, okay, well, let's see the drone footage, and we can tell, it's high def. You can see what pack of fucking cigarettes they have on the front of the car, right? We can see if a shot goes through there. And then the video just disappeared. All of that just disappeared. They kind of shook everybody's hand and closed the shop and went on their thing. The guy did get out of the car with his hand on his gun, acting real squirrely. Whether you had to shoot an old man with his hand on his fucking six-shooter, I don't really know. You didn't have to. You did, but you didn't have to. If the thing was, back your people off. So he's on his property, on his gun, and you guys are pointing guns at him. Okay. That's we start getting into that question. So, once you know that it's wrong, you can say certain things, but you can't say other things. When you ask people, okay, you've got your Second Amendment rights. Okay, so when do I get to use them? Are you going to tell me what point that is? So when you've surrounded me with federal officers illegally with no search warrant and guns pointed at my head, am I allowed to shoot back?
Yeah. On
I'm asking. I'm not telling you. I'm asking. Is that not a legitimate question, right? At what point are you allowed to fight
absolutely.
back on the line of injustice? Do I let you execute me? Do I let you execute my family? When you're standing there and they're going
absolutely.
to
It's
kill
called
you.
stand your ground. In some states, they have a
But that's
stand
not
your
true.
ground
Not
law.
against law
but that's not
enforcement.
true.
You can
That's not
resist
true.
illegal arrest up to killing a cop, but the problem
Yeah, sure
is
you
getting
can.
away with it without looking like you're the criminal. I mean,
Yeah, sure you can. Like, that's just not
There
true.
is a law.
If
You
you,
can.
if you in any way, shape, or form ever look like you're moving in that direction, right, they will fill you full of holes and no questions are asked.
Oh yeah.
In the case of Assange, it is about a journalist, of course. So it is a different story. Even I mean, it's like literally the press being attacked.
Yeah, his thing is much more dangerous to them. Like, I mean, look, at the end of the day, like, there is information out there that will destroy one real email between like actual governments, what's actually going on right behind the scenes, and the whole system collapses. Right? You get one email for yesterday between Hillary Clinton and fucking Donald Trump, and that is it. Right? When you've got one, it doesn't matter, when you see the chessboard that's being played around, the games that want to play, send 5,000 fucking mercenaries down to Venezuela. We got to get this oil money. That email will destroy everything that's going on. And that's what they fear. What they're doing to Julian Assange is not out of strength. What they're doing to Julian Assange is out of absolute fear.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's not just emails though. It's if a real document gets out there where it says that the U.S. and the U.K. planned a false flag attack or something like that along those lines, that'll rock the empire like no other.
Well, it has to
That'll
be
the
undeniable. It has to be undeniable. Bloody hand. Kind of fucking.
Right.
You have to have it where there's everything that came out through WikiLeaks. It's already shit you already knew. Right? Your average American knows the U.S. plays games all over the world. Powerful people play games all over the world. Powerful people hide their money all over the world. Right? You know these things, right? Tax havens, the only people that don't know about tax havens and don't know about corruption are the government and the press. Right? Those are the only two people that act surprised about it. Right? And those are the things that he's exposing where you cannot deny
Well, in some cases, the press uses the offshore banks.
Oh yeah, they do. They know, but that's the people that know about it. When you ask, well, why doesn't Anderson Cooper expose the corruption? Well, because his family has money in offshore accounts. Why the fuck do you think? Right? Lou Dobbs, a multi-millionaire. You think he doesn't have money in the Cayman Islands? You think he doesn't put his money in Vermont?
Yeah, right. Now, on a note of Assange, Janice Sharp, who is Gary McKinnon's mother, just said this quote: 97% of all cases in the U.S. are taken by plea bargains, so you never get to defend yourself.
Well, yeah, they get it.
After Julian Assange is sentenced to just under a year in prison, and that's the end of the quote.
Yeah, you have to imagine what they originally gave him. So what they do is, and they do this with everybody, they overcharge you, right? So you get a traffic ticket, right? Then they charge you attempted murder, right? Assault on an officer, all of this shit. And then you plead down, right, to just, standard assault, right? I didn't do anything, but you're happy to not get 150 years in a prison, right, and hung by your neck till dead, right? You'll take an assault charge or you'll take a possession charge, even though it wasn't there, right? But rather than them put you in jail forever, right, you will take a lesser charge. And they love to use that tool. There is no truth in sentencing. They're told to overcharge you. And then
they absolutely are.
So I am glad that Gary McKinnon's mom is involved then, because I know that Lori Love also went to the court case, and both of them successfully fought an extradition against the USA, and I am glad that they are involved with Assange right now, because that is actually the way to fight it.
Oh, that's absolutely the way to fight it.
Well, I mean,
if he's been given an Australian passport, he's part of the Commonwealth. They would not, if he's considered part of the Commonwealth, he shouldn't be extradited, just like Lori and any other Commonwealth.
Yeah, but I think of this, right? So the military has to be moved, like the U.S. military has be moved by the government. Tony Blair came out and gave a speech and said he will not hesitate to send more American troops, right? So I think of things like that, and it's like, yeah, they shouldn't expedite him, but then once he's out, what are you going to do about it? Right? Once he's in a U.S. trial, what are you going to do? Yeah, that was wrong, and
Yeah, but what Presto means, like, if he is part of the Commonwealth, he should be under the same law as the other UK citizens. So that
Yep.
means that if Gary McKinnon can't be extradited and Laurie Love can't be extradited, that Assange can't be extradited either because he's under the same law. Under this law, he can't be.
But I mean,
Simple
look at all the
They just
laws.
revoked
having
his citizenship,
him-
though.
but
So
just
where does
having
he
him-
fall?
He's
Who
he's
did?
an Australian citizen right now.
Australia did offer him an ID card, like a passport, so he should be an Australian.
I know
citizen.
he got his passport back from the Australian.
government.
Yeah, he had.
Oh,
Okay, so he's a citizen, right?
Yeah, but
he shouldn't be.
even
He got a passport.
I mean, there's plenty of laws that should have protected him already. Whistleblower laws, freedom of journalism laws, freedom of the press laws. There's international, journalism laws. There is, I mean, a litany of international and national laws that should have been able to, that are put there to protect people like Julian Assange, right? They were all completely ignored. They're being ignored.
Well, the thing is that they've never dealt with a rogue type of journalism institution like WikiLeaks, where they pull no punches and will publish anything that exposes corruption. So,
Well, back in the day, that was the New York Times in Ellsberg, wasn't it?
I mean, it wasn't just the New York Times and
Deep
Ellsberg.
Throat, and I mean, they used to do things like that. They used to expose
Pentagon
corruption.
Papers,
Now they
Deep Throat, Watergate. They
Now
were the
the
ones
CIA
who
and the
used to do that.
CFR got in. Yeah, now the CIA and the CFR got into our media, and they basically own the journalist. And
when's the last time
Mockingbird is like
these
60s,
people?
70s.
Yeah, when's the last time they broke anything like that or did anything close to that?
I
It's been 40,
don't
50
think.
years. I mean,
Yeah, I can't remember, the last time where it's been like a breaking story, where they investigated and, even the stuff that happened in Flint, right, was showing like the money problems, all that. None of that was done by corporate media. That was all done by independent media, right? That was all done by Jordan from
Alt media.
from TYT and all of that stuff. Like, he was the one that had to expose all of that stuff and broke those stories. The corporate media wouldn't even touch it.
yeah, no, that's the thing. It seems to me like the corporate media is entirely owned now by Wall Street and the government, and the corporate media is now basically a mouthpiece of the government, and the government sends corporate media. They're called government press packages. Under President Bush, Ken Hartman came out and said he came out questioning Bush about government press packages, and Bush said, "Well, the Department of Justice opinion is that if the information's factual and it's not propaganda, then it's okay." Like,
well, is
what?
it fact? But then you can't raise your hand immediately and be like, "Well, is it factual and propaganda?" Well, yes.
See, if I was in that press, I would have been like, oh, well, wait, never mind, because that was after, or I mean, that was before the WMDs. I was going to say, I would have said,
there's very
WMDs.
few political events that embrace us with open arms. Our revolution, and that was just because we knew Nina Turner, Tulsi talks to us, and the Bernie camp talks to us. But the big, the other candidates, the other the news organizations, TYT will talk to us. Democracy Now! Will talk to us. CNN, right? I've got a ban. They will not talk. They will not.
that ban's probably because of Amber Lyons.
There was a couple. There was Chelsea Lyons as well. There was the incident that happened at Standing Rock where they tried to give us a live interview. This lady came in and was all like, "Hey, does anybody want to talk? We just want to get both sides of the story." And I was already like, "What do you mean both sides of the story? You don't know what a heartless, gutless fucking oil company fucking wants?" Right? But I didn't do that. I just smiled. I was all like, "Oh yeah, I'd love, to tell us about the struggle and, I'll talk to you guys." I was happy, go fucking lucky. As soon as that camera went live.
Yeah,
Oh,
sorry,
yeah,
but
so
if you're
yeah.
an activist and CNN actually features you, you're doing something wrong.
Oh
Seriously.
yeah, they will never make that mistake again.
What
And
did you
then,
say?
Oh, I started right away when she asked me. She went through the same question and asked. I just want to get both sides of the story, and I went from smiling and happy to what? You don't know what the side, what an oil company wants. You don't know what the gutless corporations trying to steal our land want, right? I went through the normal. Fuck, they were not, and I'm banned for good, right? They won't talk to me at all. I snuck in with Anderson Cooper there for a minute during Puerto Rico. And got him to make some promises to keep Puerto Rico in the news and all of this stuff, which was a back way into it. But then he immediately went back on his word, and then I had the video of it, so that solidified my ban for good.
Yeah, RT isn't hard to get a hold of,
Well, no, we've got RT's been a good network. I'm sorry I didn't mention them, but RT's been a good network. They've been good to us specifically. I can't thank them enough for letting us use footage and keeping contact and all of that stuff. And we can get a little bit wild. So that is definitely
RT,
that's definitely a big
roughly,
thank you from us.
Sputnik. For some reason, the Russian media, does actually.
Hold on, what's going on here?
Oh yeah, speaking of Russia, I didn't mention this, but there was a talk on a few months ago that Putin was going to sign the internet or the Russian.
Yeah,
they're making
internet bill.
Internet, and part of the plan was to. So ISPs have to connect to other points on the internet to connect to the rest of the internet, and so all ISPs in Russia will not be connected to the outside internet, and there's a lot of problems with that because Russia does provide internet to other countries that it borders, specifically North Korea and parts of China, I believe.
Yeah.
And
that's what we were talking
there's
about.
There's also a bigger problem with this because if you have any black hats out there, the biggest smorgasbord of black hats reside in Russia, and I hate to say it, it's like a powerhouse of 0 days galore. So I really don't understand the reasoning behind this. You know what I mean?
You mean
Well, that means that the black hats are gonna. The black hats are going to hack Russia. They're going to hack their own government.
Well, there was resistance. There was resistance today, but they also signed a bill a few months ago that you can be thrown in jail for having opposition views towards the government.
Yeah,
without the black hats, Medvedev or Putin would not even be in power because the biggest black hat network in Russia is RBN, and they are located in St. Petersburg. Putin is a former mayor of St. Petersburg, and the leader of RBN, which is a kid called Flyman, is a cousin of Medvedev. So this is all entangled with each other. This is just one group.
Yeah, they seem to have just privatized where we do it through, the NSA. They've kind of privatized their
China does the same.
Their hacking force.
Yeah,
but this is something we were talking about earlier about the censorship across the internet, and they're already doing that, sectioning off each region so that you can't get a hold of information or get news out to other places. So people don't realize the amount of news that they're not seeing or that they're not hearing about around the world because it's by region. You don't see it or you can't access it
unless you have a VPN, which is insane.
Yeah,
we've been, me and AK have been noticing this too. So, for viewers aren't aware, if you're trying to access news from the United States from
Europe,
Australia, or vice versa, or EU to America, or United States to somewhere in Africa, or somewhere in the Middle East, we're having what's known as region locking on news. And the only way to access the information is to have a VPN within that country. And we only used to see this with sporting events, streaming media. That's basically where
Netflix. Netflix was the big one.
But now it's commonplace where we cannot see different news sources unless you have a VPN within the country. Which I hate to say this, but this is another sign that maybe Agenda 20 or whatever the fuck it was called, Agenda 2020 or
2030.
2030, is already in place because I didn't realize it until I was searching for some articles in Australia, and I said I was locked out because of my IP, and I said I was just looking up some like basic shit. It had nothing to do with like national secrets or anything like that, and I was like, what the fuck is going on? And then I tried another country, and then I tried a VPN, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on here?
Yeah,
you have to give a little disclaimer about Europe. A little disclaimer about Europe under the GDPR that Europe is not actually blocking, but Europe is demanding sites that they no longer collect information about you.
Right.
The American news sites who don't comply with this, instead of complying with it, have chosen to block the entire EU from their sites.
So, right.
Yeah, I believe it.
And what's happening is that we're starting to see the splintering of the internet by the legal system.
Yep.
In certain countries, because you have all these different new laws that are popping up. Like the UK, they just created a internet regulation agency. A lot of people don't even know this, but the UK just created a internet regulation agency that'll be in charge of regulating the internet in the UK. So how does that reflect to other countries and webmasters, especially because you have webmasters that are going to have to follow 1,000 different laws to be compliant?
Well, it's good.
To run a website.
They will destroy what they've trying to propagandize, and that's the ClearNet. Let them go ahead and fuck it up.
Well, it's already getting to that point. If you
can't do business there, then go ahead and screw it up. What difference does this make?
Well, now they're doing what's known as information locking. So I hate to say this is pretty bad.
Oh, it's horrifying. It's a nightmare scenario.
Where your brothers and sisters could be struggling on the other side of the world, being mowed down, being oppressed. Look at the Yellow Vest movement, right?
Yeah.
And you can't get that information. You only are able to see what the corporate media, that same picture of tear gas and bullshit that they're pushing constantly, the fear, the games, right? The propaganda network is all you get to see. So the people that are there actually spreading the truth, actually showing what's going down, actually showing the struggle, aren't able to get that information out because you're not standing in the right place to hear that news.
Just imagine that a dictator like Hitler rises up and starts killing people in mass, genocide again, and you're not able to see the information.
Look at what we were talking about earlier. The story we broke with the armored personnel carrier and the U.S. mercenaries, right? That story, if their plan worked, they would have been able to push out that story, and there would have been nobody to refute it, right? Because you can't get a hold of that information. You're not standing in the right place to see the videos, to contact people that are there, and they're able to spin that narrative. We were able to shut that down because of freedom of information, like the free movement of information.
Hey, John.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So I did speak to a number of black hats who kind of agree with what Preston says, that they are declaring the ClearNet dead, and they are actually saying like, oh, this is actually a good thing, like let them destroy it because we actually need an exodus towards Tor and the safe places because now it's needed so much. People don't understand the whole surveillance system, so they're not safe on the ClearNet. Maybe we should bring them all to Tor. Maybe that's time now.
Yeah, I mean, the people are going to move where they can get information. That's the thing. Once they know they're lying to you, it doesn't matter how pretty your streamer or graphics are on your news site. People just want to go to where they can hear the truth. And if they can't get it from the ClearNet, the net that they're using now, the Google RAN net, then they will move to where they can. And Tor is just as easy to use.
Yeah, but I would argue. I would argue against that though, because I would say that with Tor, you have Tor addresses and information, and yes, you can use a Tor search engine to look up whatever you're trying to find, but in the same regard, the ClearNet and Tor are two different operational systems because you have Tor is slow. It's very, very slow. So we need a better alternative than just Tor. And I think, what was that project that I told you? It was called Solid. That's what it's called. Tim Berners-Lee's new project that he has, because he saw this coming, I think that's the option forward is either Solid or I don't know, man. It's getting crazy. And what a lot of people should understand is that as we get closer and closer towards the 2020 election here in the U.S., shit is going to get absolutely nuts. We are going to have a Armageddon of censorship of information. And they're going to claim that it's propaganda, blah, blah, blah. And it's just going to be horrifying.
Well, because they don't expect your average person to, to want to know the difference or the truth between propaganda and, look, even a site that you like, that someone likes, as soon as they find out that person lied to them, they don't want to go there anymore, right? Even if they agreed with their ideas, right? The fact that you lied to me makes me not want to watch you anymore. It's kind of the way that, like, Fox News is hemorrhaging viewers.
I think I'm going to
Not because they don't agree with what you're saying, it's because you were lying, right?
Yeah.
And I think that will lead people. Yeah, it's not like the alternatives to our current internet are not there, but that's because there's not a need for them. The moment that people are done with it, they will move to the next version of the internet as quick as they move away from every technology. They will go to the next version of the internet the same way they go to the next version of iPhone. They don't care.
You can stay. Here's the way I would do it. You can stay on Facebook, use the ClearNet, and just realize it's that propagandized security state that's watching you. And so treat it as such. You have your chums, you talk nonsense, you give them what they want. When you really want to do something, you switch to another mode. You don't use that for your business and any operations and so forth. It's just where you talk cryptically to get to the other places you need to go. You don't
I think people will probably
can't build anything there.
No, wait, Preston. You just said use Facebook. No. Do not use Facebook.
Well, what he's saying
Delete
is
Facebook.
Once you know that they're watching you, right? Once you know your messenger, use Facebook. Who cares, right? I mean, you coming over this again? Yeah. Once you know they're listening to you, you act right. You know that this is the safe place that I can talk. This is the real place where I can get the news, and this is the place where I can listen to the weather. Right? For CNN, Fox News will both tell you when the next hurricane is hitting.
That's it. That's all they'll be good for. So yeah, you chit chat there. When you want to go do something else, you go somewhere else. That's all you have to do.
Even now, that's how people view the news. It's like, did you hear that on Fox News? You hear that on CNN? Oh no, we heard it on the anonymous. We heard it on one of the anonymous sites. Oh yeah, then that's shit. Yeah, okay. Fuck. I think you were talking about one of those crazy ass propaganda networks. Right, so I mean, even when you put out WikiLeaks, where did you hear that? NBC? No, it was posted on WikiLeaks. People are like, oh shit, okay, that's got to be real, right? So I mean, even now you see that big divide in when people are talking back and forth. They'll argue the nonsensical bullshit, the fun stuff back and forth between those two networks or the left and right and all of that. But then on the real stuff, you want to hear about what's going on? Oh, I heard this from. I'm not dropping names, but I heard this from ABB last weekend. And this is what's going on in Venezuela. They believe that, right? 1,000 times more than they believe all the crap that they saw on CNN yesterday. It has more weight because they know we're not trying to lie to them.
It's because we're not paid. We're not paid by the government. We have no pay.
You're not lying to them. People can tell. They know when they're being lied to. It's not that hard to tell.
The thing is that a lot of people don't realize is that now legacy media is dying. It's dying off because they've lied over the years to so many people. People don't believe it anymore.
News agencies are pushing that Joe is 5 points ahead of Bernie.
Oh man,
You're
drop.
Is it
You're
me
breaking
or are you
everything.
cutting
you're
off?
drop packets like you're dropping packets like no other.
It's just like vomit.
Jeez, come on, Carl, Lazar, can you please, like, we've asked you before, right? Rather than the NSA, CIA, and FBI listening to 3 separate conversations on 3 separate computers, can you guys just scoot together? Right? Use one computer, because when we get a bunch of NSA computers connecting, it fucks it all up.
They're
So,
cross-linking
here's
your
the whole
feed.
fucking- yeah, like you guys are, it's too much. Just one guy there with a take order, and then you can CC it to everybody else. I mean,
Or
if
just
y'all don't
open
know,
the YouTube link. Like, I mean, open the YouTube link and you can
yeah,
hear
get our viewers up. If you don't know what we're talking about by now, like, do you really have to connect with? I mean, I'm looking at our connections, guys. Like, honestly, this is ridiculous. 4 y'all are in the same fucking building. Oh, now my packet stopped dropping.
Yeah, I don't even have Wireshark up right now.
Yeah, no, come on, guys. Like, honestly, you know, like, in the same
I
building.
mean, I don't know. Maybe you should have said that. You don't have Wireshark up, somebody's gonna try hacking you again.
Like, I could understand if they were 3, 4 separate entities that were listening, you know, that were trying to record or trying to get information from us at the same time. But I mean, 4 in the same building, I think that's that's a waste of my taxpayer money.
Well, all these alphabet agencies, they all got a hard dick for each other. I don't know what it is. They can never get together on anything.
Yeah, you can't call. I thought you guys were all supposed to be fighting terror. Yeah, but those guys are funding them, and we're trying to undermine them, and these guys we're funding, and they're trying. It's a fun game. It's a game.
That reminds me of what happened. That reminds me of the article I read about Syria, where it said that the CIA was funding moderate rebels, and the NSA was fighting the CIA fighters.
Yeah, I believe it. Oh, there's that one town in Texas where their undercover drug dealing operation busted their undercover drug buying operation. So like the ATF and FBI, but yeah, busted each other.
That's hilarious. You got to send me that. That's funny as hell.
Not only are
pretty
racist
nice.
as fuck, came into our neighborhood and brought nothing but drugs, and then in the hood could find nobody to sell drugs or buy drugs from but yourselves. Get the hood.
I mean, that exposes how metallization works.
Well, how smart the gangs are. They know it's like, hey, there's cops over there. Just, you know.
Yeah, come on.
we already know who they are. Just move along.
Yeah, it's just like all of the shit. No, when they came up and they're like, "Are you sure you don't want this fentanyl?" They're all like, "Nah, man, we ain't bringing that shit into our neighborhoods. We learned with crack."
What? That's how you learn how to count?
Yeah, nah. We're just gonna legalize weed. We're not. Fuck. We don't need another crack epidemic. Thanks, but no thanks. Are you sure you don't want fentanyl? That's the new shit. No, nah.
It's the new
last
shit.
last time we talked to you guys, just a fucking FBI. Just like an FBI stand. Or just like
crocodile,
everybody that
crocodile?
tries to sell you drugs, you immediately think is a fucking Fed now. They're the only people selling them. How else do you get fentanyl? You can't make that shit in your bathtub.
Hey, no, most of it was coming from China.
Mexico.
Yeah. A lot of it. No, and ISIS too. ISIS
ISIS actually came out with a new drug that they were. I guess somebody in a lab had invented some super stimulant that they were using out in battle, and it literally keeps them up. It's like super meth or something, and it keeps them up for like.
Well, I mean that was.
And they make it into little
Nazi
tablets, yeah. And it was like it was like something a crossbreed between like a cathinone and something else that is native in the region, and yeah, the ISIS fighters are literally were using that shit to stay up for days at a time.
So no more hashish.
Not like the World War II, the Nazi Party ran off of speed. And,
Yeah.
And, like that was how they were able the
U.S. troops were using that up until I believe that the late
they did too.
80s. They were using them for mainly they were using them for fighter pilots though, or not fighter bomber pilots, because they would have sometimes they would fly somewhere 8 hours away to bomb something.
I believe in World War I they used heroin too, to numb soldiers.
troops were into like pep. So I mean, there was a lot. If you look at a lot of the rings and stuff, they would have a small amount of speed or a small amount of cocaine with them. Cocaine was easy to get and accepted across the board. So cocaine and speed use were real high in the U.S. military for the same reason, keep you up going long period. And that didn't stop. There was a big deal made right when I was getting out of the military, because like jackets and some of those drugs really popular inside of the military to keep up for long periods of time for fights or whatever. And I kind of cracked down on it, not selling them on base,
dropping
but pushed them
packets
pretty hard.
Quit dropping packets.
Yeah, 'cause, my arms are full, right? They're full.
Ah!
You know,
You're losing product.
It's like you're vomiting, just vomiting out words. It's that bad, yeah.
Maybe I need to shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up.
The clear net. Isn't it clear?
Yeah.
And clear.
Clear.
Hey, well, I'll tell you about, how bad it is. Yeah, no, this is, like the French protests have been going on for like 6 months. I'm actually running across people here. This is South Texas, who don't even know that is going on.
Well, yeah, the coverage.
6 months.
Coverage
I mean,
over
the coverage
here
is so
yeah.
shitty that they're surprised. It's like, wow, really?
Well, it's a purpose. It's a purposely done media blackout to stop promoting. Yep. It is a threat to nationalism, and because what they're doing is they're actually making headway, and so much so that the president of France was questioning stuff that he was doing, and then that gets wind over here in the United States. If we start protesting in the freeways and nobody can get from point A to point B, maybe that might be something that would work. Actually, that would be a really great way to protest. Just start doing it on the fucking freeways.
Well, the government clearly learned from Anonymous, but also from Occupy, right? The events pretty much spread all over the planet. So they're afraid of the Yellow Vests doing the same thing.
Well, they were literally stopping trade routes that truckers had to go on. I mean, and people were listening, and I'm like, that's a really great way to, for people to start listening to what the hell you're saying,
Well, Occupy did that too. They had some different blockades where they blocked trucker routes and
we actually called that block
ports,
by the way.
Yeah, that's true. It was called Blockupy, and there was many times when Occupy blocked ports where like shipping ports and stuff like that, and trucker routes, and there was many times where Occupy marched onto major freeways, highways.
The freeways, yeah.
Well, you see that with BLM, the water protectors did that.
Yeah, I mean, it works. Like, that's
common.
the deal. And people are, it's very inconvenient. Well, that's kind of the plan of protest. If we protest quietly over to the side, nobody listens.
Yeah, exactly.
So, I mean,
if you're protesting in the street, nobody can get where they want to. They got to listen.
Yeah, now all of a sudden,
I disagree.
Now all of a sudden you give a fuck. Now all of a sudden
I disagree. They can run people over, and that has happened. Yeah. But if there's thousands of people, you're not running over thousands of people. I mean, you run over.
The deal. You remember that's you can't do that to begin with. But remember, they charged that white supremacist piece of shit with running that girl over.
Because he did.
He did. But at the same time, all of those crazy-ass right-wing congressmen and senators were trying to push through laws and had pushed through laws to allow you to run over protesters. And they gave long speeches and went on all of the things, rounding people up that, you can fucking run them down. And then when somebody does it, they act like they're shocked. So I mean, that didn't happen in a vacuum. They made that happen. And none of those governors, none of those senators, none of those people that were urging people to run people down with their cars and trucks, right, were charged for that. Just the white supremacists that fucking did it. But
was it
you told him
Ohio
to
or
do that.
Illinois where the law passed allowing people to run over protesters?
I thought that was out in Kentucky or something like that.
No,
but the point
I
is,
thought it was North Dakota. That's where it started.
Was
that
it
was
North
one of the
Dakota?
ones that they started at. Yeah, but I don't know if
It might have been
passed.
North Dakota. I just thought it was Ohio.
But
some
that's the
reason.
deal.
There
Like
are.
all of these places came out openly speaking how they wanted you to run down protesters, and they gave all
Yeah.
the reasons. You know, they painted it. You know, the inconvenience, the blah 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 blah, is why
Yep.
you needed to murder somebody in cold blood.
Yeah, I covered
Look,
that too, like extensively when all that was going on. I was like, somebody's going to get hurt, and when somebody gets hurt, they're going to regret it. And
But then they don't get in
it ended
trouble
up
for
happening.
telling anyone to do that.
That's right.
These
See,
senators
you are being chumped. You are being told you have rights. Use those rights. On the other side, when you do those rights, now all of a sudden it's like, hey guys, you have a law over here where you can run these guys over. I mean, you're being totally played by these people. So now you can do both, and then we'll just, in the chaos of it all, it's like, you know what, we really don't give a shit about any of it, and you get played.
Yeah, and
In
I think
this
that's
system, you're always getting played. That's the thing. You're always getting infiltrated. You're always being used. It never ends.
Yeah.
And the infiltration is a huge part of it. So, I mean, you do have, in all of these, when you said like the Occupy movement and how these groups learn, if you've got 10 activists in a room, 5 of them are infiltrators or instigators. They're trying to learn your tactics, how you're doing it, how you organize, and how to undo any of that. Right? That is the plan, including right, instilling fear. So, there's a chance if you block this road, some crazy ass fucking white supremacist might run you over. Right? They will go. These are the same people that will commandeer a armored personnel carrier and run it into their own protesters to make a false flag. They will sit and talk this white supremacist into fucking running his car into shit. Right? And then, you better be careful. Don't want to come out and speak out again. Right? That is their game. They play all of those games.
Yeah, it's hard to believe. Even older, when I've really got into it, it was hard to believe that they would have that many agents, that many stooges, that many infiltrators. But I assure you, they are there. I've seen it long enough now. It's like they've apparently have all the time and money they need to do all this shit, and they do it good, man.
Yeah,
They ain't messing around, is it?
Yeah, and they use different tactics on you too. Like at one side, you have like the defeatists who are like always negative, that we will lose anyway, right? You have this demotivational guys, but you also have these people who make themselves like you can't do it without them, right? They always offer the stuff you can't refuse. Like they will print all the flyers. They know someone who prints like cheap flyers. They always know this perfect person, and then they will make themselves like so important to these movements. And then you have these instigators.
Yeah, and then when they're when they fall or they disappear, or there's no longer that support there, right? You lose all of that, and they'll put themselves in places of moderate power, things that you need. Organizer water bottles, pamphlets and flyers are really big. Facebook and social media pages, so you be careful who the fuck you add to admin, right? Because if there's 10 of you guys that are activists, right? 5 of them on that admin are instigators and infiltrators, and we saw that with the with a lot of
people they organize rides, and then they'll get a van to you, they'll pick about 10 of you up, and then the van breaks down. Well, that was the plan. See, we fucked 10 of you guys. I mean, they're crafty, man. They will use every freaking trick they could think of.
Yeah, I mean, it took us fucking several years to be able to put together a group where we know that nobody's a fucking Fed.
Yeah, it took a while. I mean, pretty much you're like, everybody that we brought into the fold, it's all like, well, either like you've been in the shit or in the same shit to enough that there's no way that guy is an infiltrator.
No, exactly. That's like, we've seen it with just this show even. I mean, how many people came and went again? Like, I mean, yeah.
I can't count the times that I've been called an agent over the years, and then it's like, dude, I've been dropping information that can literally get me killed. What the fuck do you mean I'm a fucking agent? What?
Yeah, but these guys are so smart that they are never called the agents. That is just they're much too slimy for that. Like,
well, I mean, they're in and
different
out.
ways.
They work on, people being, especially at these protests. There's a lot going on, so they do get the bill. Same with what they were able to do in Venezuela. They were able to do that because of the commotion, right? Because of all the things that are going on. They're able to sneak in and sneak out. You meet new people that are joining the resistance that just woke up. So they do have, an entry into your circles. But, like we were saying with with Facebook, once you come to the terms that they are listening, right, then you can act accordingly. It's only a problem when it's a surprise, right? When you think your best friend is a good guy and he turns out to be an instigator, right, or an infiltrator. Right, that's when it's hard. When you know they're an instigator, shit, I'll tell you all sorts of good news, right? I'll have you feeding your handlers just complete and utter misdirection because I know you're an instigator.
Right. Or like in the instance of the whole thing that happened with Sabu, one day you're talking to your friend, and the next day you're talking to somebody who's now being controlled by a federal handler.
Well, that's how he got the 0 days. He got him from the FBI.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
His skill set,
Yeah,
his
Sabu
skill
wasn't that smart.
set, his skill set was subpar. The only thing he'd do is run scripts.
Well, and then even you'll have somebody come by and they're in one of your circles or kind of just in the community, and then they come at you with some with a op that is way out of their skill set, from what you know of them. You know what I mean? Where there's things that it's like, no, you don't have the skill to do that, and the fact that you're asking me about it raises a lot of red flags. You have, all of a sudden you want to take on some big entities, and no, that's not who you are, and that's it's just not real. You're setting us up.
Oh yeah,
There's a jackpot.
My favorite is the DMs. My favorite is the DMs. Can you hack? I'm like, no.
No, thanks.
Yeah, no. Yeah, no. If you're asking me to hack, no, thank you.
Yeah,
That's
first of all,
subtle.
I have no idea what the fuck you're talking about. That's always my answer.
Yeah, but that was the case with Anonymous Abu. With this, like exactly like you said, Terrence. Like this crew suddenly came and they like had like a few days and they did hacks that were far beyond their skill level. And this Anonymous Abu was claiming stuff like that he just appeared, did all these crazy hacks, and like even deliver like private conversations of FBI agents. Like no one understood how these guys got this stuff. And then it went away again. Like this is literally impossible. Like,
do you remember they had a call-in line that you could call into, and you could you could ask whatever website you wanted them to DDoS.
Yeah.
Oh my god! I never thought of that.
Yeah,
I never thought of that.
Yeah,
Wow.
there's also recording where Sabu was calling the FBI and claiming that he was looking for Dan Siebels, and it was like a fucking 10-minute troll where he was calling the FBI to report a flaming botnet, and it was just like the lady was like, "What the fuck is that?" That's more Sabu shit. He sounds like he knows what he's talking about, but he really doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I remember that this should have been the biggest red flag. When there were certain documents that were leaked by Sabu that had a phone call home basically built into the PDF. I remember that, and I remember looking at the metadata of those documents and seeing that phone call home, and I was like, something's up with this. Something's really up with this. It's really weird. And then, lo and behold, was it fucking like a year? I think a year or a year and a half later, it comes out that he was an informant.
Oh, that's
surprise!
He gave
ding ding ding.
He gave Jeremy the 0 days to get into Stratford.
Yeah, he gave yes, right.
So essentially, the FBI gave the 0 days to Jeremy, and Jeremy hacked a ongoing CIA operation. So the FBI fucked over the CIA.
Oh, and they play games back and forth with each other.
Yeah.
So that's not particularly. I mean, I know several groups that are working for those government agencies, and they're constantly doing back and forth, constantly monitoring each other. This kind of aha, gotcha moments. That's kind of some running jokes inside of the
CIA.
The clandestine computer world.
Yeah, the CIA and the NSA have been at war with each other for several years, and it's because it's a competition to get contracts, to be honest. I mean, the CIA and the NSA, there's not much difference between them when it comes to spying and it comes to hacking. Like, they're the same.
Yeah, they've got the same
capabilities, right? Yeah.
Well, and they're trying to do the same things.
Except I've actually heard that the CIA has way more advanced capabilities than the NSA does. But I don't know if that's true.
God, the NSA supercomputer, maybe the CIA is able to
some of the malware like Cherry Picker and all of that. I mean, there's a lot of thought that goes into that. I mean, to know where a person is based off bounced radio signals on a Wi-Fi within a room. That's some scary shit.
Yeah, they've got. So I think the NSA's definitely got some better toys, man.
Or my favorite is air gapping a hard drive on a computer using just the LED light on the hard drive. That's so fucking crazy. I'm like, wait, what? How does that work?
Monitoring, being able to get audio off of objects in a room's vibrations, even on old videos, is fucking cool. You guys are bastards, but that is still pretty cool. So if you guys don't know what we're talking about, these agencies, to be able to listen to conversations, they can tell by the vibrations of objects, glass, plants, things in the room, what you're saying. So they can monitor the movement of those plants.
Well, they've been using that for a long time. They use it's like a laser. They point invisible laser, like an infrared laser at a window, and the vibration acts kind of like a vibration that you would see on a record, which can be into audio signals. It's very simple.
Yeah, but those are they've got some really crazy tools. Yeah.
Like you say, you can do it straight up.
Both these organizations have like one big weakness, and that is their size. Because the CIA is also like, then there's like some cocaine plane crashes again. And then with the NSA, all the tools were hacked. Like literally all the tools were leaked online by shadow brokers. Like there's clearly some leaks inside the NSA and the CIA.
Is that how Ghidra got on the internet, or did the NSA release that voluntarily?
Yeah, I mean, some of it is that you hired a bunch of black hackers to handle your network, to handle all of these hacks and stuff that you want to do. So I mean, it's not surprising that they leak stuff. Like they really don't. I know that these government agencies really do feel that these black hackers that they've paid are on their side, but they're really not in the way that you think they are. You're paying.
Well, the NSA whistleblower contractor. Something Martin III was arrested, and he had terabytes upon terabytes of NSA data, including tools, and they think it's not 100% confirmed, but they think that the shadow brokers leak came from that.
All right, I'm going to put this in the chat room right here.
Yeah, he had a number of classified files, and he had like all kind of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. You almost, just knowing that you're dealing with those kind of people, you'd almost have to, just to protect yourself. I'd have to collect up, certain things just to keep to keep you from shooting me when you're done with whatever project you're working on.
No, I 100% don't disagree with you on that. I forget what NSA agent was it, whistleblower that came out and said that he had basically people show up to try to kill him. Who was that? Do you remember?
Pretty much every whistleblower.
Yeah, well, there's so many.
I mean, that's normally like step one they go to is
William
threatening
Binney,
your life.
Kiriakou.
That's what I'm trying to remember. Yeah, no, I'm trying to remember if it was William Binney or if it was Thomas Drake.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's I'm trying to remember if it was Thomas Drake or if it was William Binney, where they had NSA agents basically show up at the door, threaten to kill him, and drag him out because he had taken documents.
Yeah, that sounds like their style.
Binney?
Binney got
Not
dragged out of
100%
there.
sure.
He was taking a shower at the time, but I don't know.
Yeah. It was Binney.
I don't think he actually had any stolen documents or anything.
Yeah, I think it was just a normal
That guy's got it all in his head, man. He doesn't need to take any documents. He wrote the documents, so he just need to talk to him.
I don't know if that's
but
better
I'm
or
pretty
worse.
sure that's why they came after him was because he took documents.
So you have all these different whistleblowers. So you have all these different leaks in your organization. And it's all because of the size, of course, because you see the same thing in Germany, which is also a very large intelligence. And there's also a lot of stuff leaking, like the whole Finn Fisher stuff.
Well, what they do is they compartmentalize information so they can limit the leaks. And they have the left hand working on one part of the operation, and then the right hand working on the other part of the operation. That's how this all works.
European agencies are a little different.
I've talked to several. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Now, European intelligence agencies work a little different, but they outsource everything to commercial companies, and that is probably even worse. I mean, the whole Finn Fisher scandal, that company that designed Trojans to put on computers of normal people, and then the government would use these to spy on people, and there was this commercial
Hack
stuff.
Team. You remember Hack Team, and remember them try. Remember what came out of Hack Team, and it said that they had created software where the controller could implant child pornography onto somebody's computer.
Yeah, but we had one of
That's how they got. They did that to Matt.
To pull that with. Yeah, they tried to pull that with.
No,
that's what I was
they did. No, that's what Matt's in jail for. But the thing that got everybody interested in him was the FBI drop in his Dropbox, or his dead drop, whatever the fuck it was.
Yeah, it was the dead drop. But I mean, this is something that I mean, we kind of know that they do. Planting information, or planting evidence and all of that is part of the game.
Speaking of, I haven't heard from Matt's mom in a long time.
Well, that's the same. I was going to contact Reality Winner's mom too, just to get an update from her in the next couple of, and maybe even have her on in the next couple of episodes again, just to, to keep her in the news and get an update, because it's hard to get information back and forth. It's just, it's hard, to keep, when you see it over and over and over again, it's hard to keep it in the, to keep it in the news and to keep everybody's name going through there, because, geez, there's a next week where they're doing the same thing again. We just keep on adding people to the list.
Right,
I don't even see her on Twitter anymore.
No, she's there, really, Winner. Yeah.
She is?
Yeah, she's still there. I know that both her and, Julian's mom kind of, are back and forth just because it gets overwhelming. There's lots of support, but then, a constant stream of hate mail is hard on them. Yeah.
Oh yeah, especially Assange's mom. Like I said before, I
saw some of the messages from her from their Facebook page. My God, man. It is just one endless stream of fucked up, people. Why would you even write somebody if you've got that much hate in your heart? What does it matter? Did you think that she's going to, not love her son because you wrote that? You just wrote it to be fucking mean.
Yeah, I'm kind of worried about her because she posted that last update that she had, this illness. And she hasn't really posted that again after that. So.
Well, yeah, I saw one of the admins that wrote me that if there was something we could do to, slow down some of these because they were getting pretty bad. I mean, it's threats of violence or like veiled violence, where they, they'll get banned if they come out and straight threaten you. So they use, real pretty words to make it sound not quite so, where you can't pin it out as much. But yeah, they contacted just to see if we could get some of them to back off of it. And yeah, man, like we were reading through them, and it's just, yeah, it's kind of heartbreaking to think that a mother would be reading those things. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I've personally went after several people.
Oh no, they had some real bad days here.
Yeah. It's ridiculous what some people are saying and doing, and it really makes me question their own sanity.
Yeah, no, some of it you'd read it and you'd be like, yeah, it's all the way into like you've whipped yourself into some sort of frenzy. You can see it in typing, and you can't really catch inflection from typing, but you can kind of tell that they've whipped themselves into some sort of, craziness.
Well, we're dealing with this stuff every day on Twitter. Like everything we post in support of Assange, there's always one or two. It's almost automated. Like they're using robots for this because it is always the same stuff.
Yeah,
there's always the collusion with Russia or whatever, and it is like, oh, he brought Trump into power. No, sorry, but
yeah, whatever.
It's actually the corruption.
Yeah, like the fact that you're saying that is why Trump's in power. Finish.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the fact that you believe any of the story that these clowns. The reason Trump is in power is because Hillary Clinton is a terrible fucking person. Stop. Right?
Yeah, that's also how I reply. Like the only reason that Trump won is because Hillary was even more corrupt. Like.
Yeah, you couldn't have picked a worse person that nobody was asking for to be president, that nobody has ever asked for to be president, that has lost every single presidential race that she has ever won. It is not surprising that she lost to Trump. She's lost to everyone, right? So,
it's not even just that. It's the fact that you tried to run a candidate that has literally had a scandal every single time that they run.
It just is political scandal. Like if you look up political scandal in the dictionary, it's a picture
Hillary's
of Hillary
face.
Clinton.
Yeah, she's a criminal. Yeah. Everybody knows it. It's like you, except everybody for really just
everybody
the
but the media and the corporate
15,
downs.
20%. Yeah, it's
those are the only people that don't know it. NBC,
only the
CNN.
true sheep. They're on board, but yeah, the rest of the people are like, yeah, she's a criminal. Everybody knows it.
I mean, how else do you explain losing 5 documents in 5 separate criminal cases? Like losing, like first off, the email scandal that happened in 2016 was not the first email scandal. The first email scandal was called Emailgate X, and during Emailgate X, Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton accidentally turned off the archiving function of the White House server. Accidentally.
Accidentally. How do you just to have it explained to me is someone that's worked in network administration? How do you accidentally do that?
You'd have to reach pretty far into a system to do something like that, so it's not an accident.
Yeah, that's just not something that you normally like. Oh, I meant to click share, and instead I clicked wipe mainframe.
Oh, you mean it's not a switch? It's not an on-off switch that you can turn on the server?
She went in the basement and hit the fucking on-off switch?
It's just absolutely ridiculous. And then there's the whole FBI Filegate thing. And then there's the Whitewater incident where there was Whitewater documents that were found in the Clintons' home after the investigation, and she doesn't get in trouble for hiding evidence.
She goes back to Watergate when she was an intern working on that investigation, falsifying evidence. When they had Nixon flat out, she was that's how fucking bad she is. How stupid. She gets caught in everything.
I would, if they ever release that information, I would bet dimes to donuts that the reason that Nixon got caught was because Hillary Clinton fucked it up. Guaranteed.
They didn't need her. Nobody asked her to do it. It's just like, you did this, and then you get caught at it. It's like, what? Who the fuck are you, stupid?
Why were you even doing that?
You're compromising the whole thing. What's up?
Whoops. But no,
Well,
like there
no,
is
well,
those, every time we do get those kind of that same, I don't know, it can't be cheap. I really do think some of it's because I've never met one of these Clinton bots in person. You ever seen a Clinton bumper sticker?
It's been
No.
I've read
No!
a few of them. I mean, they're rabid. I don't know where they come from, but you can't talk to them. That's what's bad. They hate right wingers. They hate you, and you can't talk. So there's going to be a clash right away.
That's my
where
problem
it's not
with
going to go
Occupy.
well.
That's my problem with Occupy Democrats. It's like you do realize, because they are just one It's not that they don't bash like somebody. You can't say, hey, what Mitch McConnell did. You didn't like. It's always the conservatives, Republican, blah 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 blah. But you're never like you do realize if you just got 10% of those people to vote with you, you'd win the election. Right, but they rather play the divide and conquer game.
Our way.
They would rather
or
play the division.
highway?
Yeah, they'd rather play the divisive Hegelian dialect.
Yeah.
And it's really worrying that people can put themselves into a political circle and say that I believe in these policies of the left or the right. I believe in all of these policies of the left or the right, as opposed to just thinking for themselves.
Well, and the without question thing is what's bothering me.
Yeah.
It's to say like I agree with these policies, but I can't question anyone. Vote blue no matter who. Just toe the line. There is no difference between vote blue no matter who and that bullshit that QAnon's pushing. Right? Keep your head down. Listen to the plan. Yeah, the exact same thing. Don't question. The leaders know what's going on. And it's like, oh, vote blue no matter who. Okay, who's the who? Joe Biden. What?
Yeah, seriously.
Fuck? That's exactly why I can't vote blue no for fucking who.
Vote blue no matter who.
Sign the
In
pledge.
in the USA, it's so much more visible. It's so much more visible in the USA. It's like because you have this left and right, red and blue. It's so much more visible than when you have like countries with like 30 different political parties.
It wasn't like this. It was not like this prior to Trump.
America, you used to be
you
used to be cool. Nah, I'm thinking about
it's been shit for a long time.
1778, we really started fucking up.
Yeah, the extremes are they're bigger and then they're more extreme. That's why you're seeing the clashes on the streets. Like, okay, you adding five fucks want to march around. Well, then we'll have some Proud Boys kick your ass. I mean, it's like, however you want it,
Yeah,
if that's really your position. It's like, oh, you own the streets. Oh, you just want to beat up people. Oh, you burn books or shut people down. Well, then we'll shut you down. That's the kind of response you're going to get. So you can't talk to them. There's no talking about anything.
Yeah, there's no debate.
So that's
you can't have differences in opinion. You have to agree, and you can never say, "Oh, you know what? I agree with all of these things, but I don't really see eye to eye with them on that." Oh, you're a Russian spy.
You're a Russian spy.
They always say that, but you have like a Green Party or a Libertarian Party, right? What is up with that? Like,
they're worthless.
Yeah, but they're squelched. Yeah, they're squelched by the other two parties who make rules that they don't have to follow, that the other parties have to follow. Like, oh, well, you guys aren't polling 10%, so you don't get to go to the debate. Yeah, well, hey, you guys aren't either, but you just get,
But some of it is the Green Party's fault, right? Like they're not. Look, they've got the numbers, they've got the funding, they've got the notoriety, right? People know who the fuck you are, where you are. You've got all of the tools that you need to fight back, but you don't.
Yeah, same with the Libertarians. Like they could get on the ballot.
They didn't even run anybody over this last election cycle. Nobody. They don't have I love Jill Stein. I worked for the campaign. Like that's great, but are y'all going to get down to business or just bitch about it? And they seem like they're just bitching.
Well, that was the Green Party. That wasn't Libertarians.
Oh yeah,
well, Libertarians was who the fuck was that?
Was there buddy Pauls, right? Ron Paul and
no.
Well,
it was
he ran
somebody else. Yeah, it was somebody else. I can't remember his name right now.
Well, then he
was the governor of New Mexico.
He literally at one of the staged speeches, he came out in his underwear. I can't remember his name.
That's kind of weird.
I don't know who he is, but I like him already.
No, seriously, he came out completely in his underwear, just no shirt or anything, just in his underwear. I can't remember his name though.
Like,
God
what's
damn it.
up, y'all?
And he was endorsed by. It was funny because he was endorsed by Wall Street, but he was a libertarian, which was
Doesn't make sense.
Yeah, that's a little.
I would
That's
ask
a little
you,
iffy.
how libertarian are you? Because you're awful close to the banksters, for my liking.
Well, yeah,
Seriously.
that's what I see with libertarians. Like, I just don't see much difference between them or a rhino Republican. You guys will go along and put up with anything. I mean, you don't stand for anything. I can't tell who the
Yeah,
hell
I don't like. It's not only that I don't agree with you. I can't really tell where the fuck you stand, and that stresses me out. Stand for something.
Yeah, you definitely don't stand for the people. It's all about you. Okay, well, fuck that. It's like, but they're all that way.
Well, I mean, I think there's a real problem with ego in our government. Like a real problem with ego.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
I. If you type in right now, if you go to Google and you type in Biden with activists, you will not see a single picture that isn't Biden. Right? Just him by himself. It's just one long ego post.
He's doing a trick that Warren Buffett does. He had a picture over here with a ice cream cone. He's the old man with the ice cream cone.
Well, that's creepy. Like we just said, like I'm not coming to your van for an ice cream. Knock it off.
Somehow that works. I mean, I've seen this trick before. You're like, that's how you know when you're dealing with a douchebag politician. They always have some little goofy prop,
like a prop.
oh, here's some ducklings or some little kid, or
With
you have an
with
ice cream
Hillary,
cone. Yeah,
with
it's
Hillary,
something
it was
stupid.
the cake shop.
Yeah,
Do you remember she went to
they're getting
she went to
serious.
that
They're
culinary
rolling up
shop and she had a cake? Do you remember
rolling,
that?
rolling up their sleeve.
Yeah, look, I'm one of you.
Serious.
Yeah, no, that's literally what it. Yeah, that's what it's meant to do. It's meant to an event to basically coddle the people and say, "Look, I'm one of you too."
Yeah.
No.
I'm going to promise you a bunch of shit. I'm not going to do it. You already know that, but you've forgotten that because you have short memories. But I'm going to tell you how much more shit I'm going to give you. And everybody will go, yay, and you walk off the stage, you got your photo op, you're out of there. This is the kind of chumps you're dealing with in this country. This is what I'm trying to say. All right, just the plain English of it. You're a bunch of chumps who put up with crap like that.
If they had any,
yeah, if you put up for it, I mean, some of it is like they've kind of taught people or demanded that you never speak up for yourself, right? That you never stand for anything, you never speak out. Look, even if it's in a debate, right? You can be wrong in a debate. Shit, I'm wrong all the fucking time, right? But they don't even have the backbone to ask, right? Out of all of those journalists, out of all of the people that you watch and love so much, they never stand up. Right? They'll accept their awards, they'll do whatever they'll put, but they never stand up. And it trains people not to stand up either. Like I'm not like we idolize the American Revolution, but then never take any of those characters to heart. Right? You're going to have to actually stand up.
That's right, exactly. But see, here's part of it is religious, I think, because you have a church that tells you that you're saved by grace, not by works. Oh, well, so I don't have to do anything. See, if it was by works, you would have to actually earn it and fucking do something.
Yeah,
if I can just be a douchebag and I'm already saved, oh, well, fuck, I'll just fuck everybody then.
That's an easy out.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, you're saying I can be a horrible person and just say I'm sorry at the very end? Yeah, fuck,
Yeah.
I am
in. So this is the mentality that you're given from all these churches, and then you wonder how you get messed up, scrambled up, and don't know left and right, because you're listening to all this crap.
Real quick for you, Terrence. You have like an admirer in the chat, and she wants to say thank you. Her name is Pam Rowbottom, and she's in the YouTube chat, and she says, "Thank you, Terrence, for doing well for our marine life and humanity."
Oh, thank you very much. I don't know if it's possible for you to see how much I'm blushing, but I don't like everything. And I want to make this completely clear. That's why I came. I originally came on the show as a guest. I came on the show because I met people who were down for the actual cause. You can't do this alone. And while we're talking about the ego shit and all of that before, there is no I. There's only an us. I can't fight ocean plastic. I can't speak out for the truth. I can't do any of this by myself, right? I'm just one guy. It takes all of us standing up together, and we do kind of take that part in I know it's a stupid movie, but with ants, right? That once we show that one person can stand up, right? We showed that everybody can stand up, that it can be done. You can search for the truth. You can save your planet. You can defend yourself and defend your families, right? That's really all we're trying to do when we do this, is show you that it's possible. But it takes you guys' support. We don't get paid. We don't make anything of it. We're just here to show that it can work if we stand up together. You know, all of us disagree on all sorts of shit, come from different walks of life, but we're here to show that, yeah, it can be done, right? We can. The more of us that stand up, the more of us that stand united, the stronger we are, right? So, I mean, yeah, I definitely thank you so much for the praise and the support and all of that, but none of it's by ourselves. It takes Pam standing with us. It takes everybody standing with us. So, yeah, I do love the praise, but it's so unwarranted in that it takes all of us working together for any of it to work at all.
Well, I think I can speak for everyone here that we are very grateful for you joining this actual panel, because you are like a waterfall of information. So this is really...
That's definitely more than I deserve.
Yeah, no, but that's like, for me, it's all about information, right? We deliver the information to other people that they actually need, and like you always provide lots of information. And I'm from Europe, so I don't know, like 99% of this stuff you guys know from this United States situation. So I don't know anything about this, so I'm very grateful for it.
That's what me and you had the problem with when I was writing an article for Acta 2. Was I told you, I was like, I have no idea about fucking European politics. I was like,
yeah, I can tell you all sorts of statues on American. Good question. I don't know.
Yeah, Europe? No, it's like a foreign language to me. I mean, it really is a foreign language too. But I mean, that's just an example of how everybody has a piece of the puzzle. Yeah. And there's a lot of people here on this panel who have a lot of information, and it's always a very interesting show. That's why I joined too.
Well, I mean, it's a two-way street with, I think, all of us. So, I mean, to say, oh, well, Terrence brought I brought just as much information as all the other hosts of the show did. You know, that's what makes it. Every single one of us has, I mean, if people are willing to listen, right, we've got all sorts of great information. But it really is all of us. I kind of see it as that Justice League, kind of thing.
Justice League.
We've all got our special.
You might as well say Avengers.
Yeah, Avengers.
Great American hero.
Yeah, so I do see each of us. I came on as a guest. I was so honored, and you guys didn't see me behind the scenes, like, oh my god, because I listened to the show to begin already, and was already a fan when I came on. So I mean, I was honored to be a part of it, and that same respect I had for you guys. Like, it was the most informed show that I had heard in so long. Even the other guys that were kind of doing anon stuff and doing like free news networks and alternative news networks, they weren't spitting the truth, which was why I was so impressed with this show.
Well, unless you read nnnews.co, which was copying my work, not even giving me credit.
Yeah, that place is
pasting my articles.
That site has been a copy and paste operation. I think our old streamer. He knew the guys who had run that site, and it was, I believe it was, Anon HQ, a sub faction.
Yes,
and they wanted to be a news agency, but they didn't know how to fucking market it, so they went to the Non-News Co. and it
decided just to copy paste all of my articles and fucking not give me credit.
Yeah. It's literally been a copy paste operation, and 9 out of 10 articles that they put are fucking bullshit. Like, I've read some of the shit that they've done like over the years, and it's like they don't really do anything other than fucking post articles on shit that doesn't matter. And then they used to post that meme that we were going to get rid of all the debt for everybody in the world. Like, where the fuck, like, who the fuck is going to do that? You'd have to hack every fucking bank in the fucking world.
Yeah, that's impossible.
That's impossible.
That's the RV thing that was going around the internet for years, where people were saying that, oh, they're going to release the dinar and this and that, and
yeah, sure.
No,
I think you guys. I think somebody.
That's the Q of 2000s.
Yeah, I think you guys have been watching too much Fight Club. Like,
I was gonna say it's a
Reading
lot.
too much Q post.
yeah, super.
I mean,
Reading too much Q.
Yeah, it's more
Yeah,
complicated. It's more
It's the
complicated.
Q.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the Q-Late.
Well, the fact
Stay
that
away
like
from
okay,
it.
like we under
Q-Late.
yeah, I'm not sure if you understand how the electronic international banking industry works, but obviously you don't.
Well, I mean, ironically, if you think about it, when people were saying this years ago that they're going to release the RV and there's going to be a currency reset, ironically, we did get our currency reset. We have cryptocurrency now. It came out of fucking nowhere, and it's literally like magic money. It's
Did they lose their website? Hold on.
Well, NNnews.co? Yeah, probably.
Hold on. I think they did.
They probably did.
Well, God,
I
can't
fucking
you pay their
hounded them
bills?
like no other, dude. Like I was so pissed when I found out
Oh,
that
here it
they were
is.
just
They changed it,
copy-pasting
yeah.
my articles.
Yeah, they changed it. Okay.
Like-
let me see. Let me see if they're using WordPress. Hold on. This is fucking easy.
You could have live hacked
Yeah.
them, really?
I'm not
Yeah,
hacking
stand
it.
by.
I'm just
He,
looking.
he gets mad.
I'm just
every
taking
now
a
and then.
look. I'm just taking a look.
I'm
not
just
doing
I'm just
anything.
port
Yep.
scanning, bro.
100%. They're
Scanning,
using
bro.
WordPress. This is like these are done by this is the website done by an amateur.
Jeez, they're using the standard template.
Yeah, no, I'm not scanning them because I don't have permission. So I mean, it's never stopped me before, but I'm on air.
I don't have
I'm not gonna do it.
permission.
Yeah.
Oh
But-
shit, that's funny.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
this is literally like a website that you can make in like 10 minutes. Like, it's not that.
Oh, that's hard work.
You know what's really hard work? Copy
Well-
pasting my
Well,
articles.
I always
is
tell
hard
people.
work.
I always tell
Oh,
people
yeah.
if you're gonna design a website, if you're gonna do WordPress, I always tell people don't because it's got the most exploits. But if you are using
Oh, it's
a
just
site, the only thing you can do is there's a lot of stuff in the back you can do to make it not as easy for people to get into it, but it literally has a backdoor.
yeah. No, look,
Website.
WordPress is just one big.
You just type admin on the fucking site and it literally brings you into the admin login. I mean, that's pretty fucking stupid.
Yeah, I mean, we could go through. There is plenty of information. I urge anybody that is using WordPress to make their sites to please go look up the security loopholes, the security flaws.
Well, you
in
can
WordPress.
put in on the login. This is something that I've known that has gotten a lot of people from that admin panel. Is you can do a 2FA or you can do a Google Authenticator, which is a random number generator that changes its code every 15 seconds, and that is a deterrent from letting it. Even if somebody got your password, they would not be able to get in without using an exploit. I mean, that would stop a brute force attack, but that wouldn't stop any exploits. But
And pretty much there are computers running around. India is real big for brute force attacks that are they go through and they test 1 million sites every couple of minutes. It's done automated. It's done automated to go through and test every single WordPress site in the registry, and just to see if they have those flaws, what information they can collect up from them.
The biggest tool people use to hack these sites is it comes with almost every security version of Linux. It's WP Scan, and they literally have WP Scan built into web pages where you don't even have to have the actual script to do it. You just run it from somebody else's website.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, WordPress is just completely flawed.
Well,
I don't know why they haven't fixed. They should have rewrote the code and fix some of these problems.
That use the WordPress site are using it, for their kind of small business or their artwork or their. It's not.
Well, it's easy because it's deployable. It's deployable within 10 minutes. You can literally get a looking website within minutes. That's why people use it.
Oh yeah, I understand that.
Once you know that the flaws that are involved in it, and how easy it is, I think is the point that really sinks it home.
It's mostly plugins, though. That is like.
Yeah, I mean, the default for enumerated scans is it'll spit out all of its information. But you have to manually turn that off.
Yeah.
which
You
I don't
can-
think most people do, or they go and they get the sites built for them, and the people that build them don't care.
or
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
know at all. I mean, like the thing is that anybody can build a WordPress site, so you don't have to have technical knowledge to,
Yeah.
build a WordPress site. It's not the same as dealing with directories and dealing with a server and building an HTML file and PHP
Yeah, but I mean,
and all that.
it is that where when you do have a security, look at HTML. Oh my goodness, HTML you can go through, and I mean, if you do have a security flaw, these are easy things to fix. You can go in and fix them, no problem. Some of these, the plugin is where the flaw is. It's not like you can always go in and edit the code and edit the program or the plugin to fix it. And it's shit after the fact.
Well, the problem is, they're using PHP, and with these plugins, you can get elevated privileges based on exploits.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then there's the issue is that like anyone is able to install a WordPress site. Everyone is able to upload new plugins in the plugin store, and if you give it a good name, people will install your plugin into their WordPress site. And yeah, that's
I love this. I love this
And
on their
that's
site.
that.
It says anonymous message to Tom Cruise and Scientology, and I was like, dude,
Whoa, that's kind of. I mean,
that's kind of old. This is like man, you were like 70
That's a
years
fucking
old.
throwback, man. That's
Yeah,
a
that kinda-
throwback.
This is on the
allowed
front
to-
page of their fucking website. I'm like, bro, you're like stuck in 2007.
That's
It's
that's a weird coincidence. So, I mean, are we allowed to talk about some of the things that we have coming up in the near future here, or hopefully have coming up in the near future, or are we letting that kind of behind the scenes?
Well, there's a plan for
Because I mean, we are supposed to have
down the
some,
pipeline that they're for
some guests come on.
there's going to be some people protesting at the Scientology centers nationwide, but
Yeah, November 5th.
yeah.
Yep.
And I mean, it's about like I don't think that the cult that is Scientology. I mean, it is a dangerous cult that was allowed pretty much free reign across the U.S., complete with
Well,
weird.
it's a scam. It's a scam. People pay money. Pay money to the church, and it's not. Well, I mean, people who are at the top know what it's all about, but it's about extortion on people's sexuality, and so they don't release it to. Like with Tom Cruise, everybody wondered why he was so involved. Is because he's closet homosexual, and
that they were using that
they
against
use that
him.
against him, yeah, as leverage.
Well, I don't understand why that was.
They did the same thing with Val
would-
Kilmer. I've always suspected Val Kilmer was gay as well, and I think they've been using that over him as well.
But both
Well,
of them
L. Ron
work
Hubbard.
In the both of them work in the movie industry. Why would it matter if you were gay? Like that's something that does bother me. Like if Tom Cruise or
Because they come at people who already have established careers. And for some people, I mean, back in the '90s, this was a big thing. If you were
Right, yeah.
people don't
yeah.
care.
yeah,
The thing
I
is that
think even-
Scientology, L. Ron Hubbard was actually a pedophile. Like a lot of people don't know this, but he has quotes where he talks about having sex with underage girls. And the thing is, with Scientology and being connected to Hollywood, there's a link there that a lot of people haven't explored, which is linked into the whole Death Eaters world of political blackmail pedophilia.
Well, they have
So-
the big church is in Los Angeles. They have the Celebrity Center. Oh
Yeah.
yeah, I didn't mean to cut off. Sorry.
No, I was completely done with what I was saying.
Well, there's another thing that is that L. Ron Hubbard, his best friend was John Parsons, which was an engineer, and he's one of the founders of Ordo Templi Orientis, which is
also in Los Angeles.
kind of
Oh,
Masonic lodge.
yeah.
Yeah. I was actually looking them up yesterday. They have a temple in La Crescenta, and I was looking at the pictures on Google, and sure enough, they had a statue of Baphomet somewhere on their shit. I just thought that they were on the Aleister Crowley shit, but then I was like, whoa, these guys are like way out there.
No, Odo is bad news. I've been told.
Aleister Crowley
I've been told
is,
that before.
Yeah, it's called Aleister Crowley's Ordo Templi Orientis. It has to
Yeah.
do with it. But they are like a BDSM sex cult. They also do this blackmail stuff. They say they are like a Masonic lodge, but they are not officially recognized. We call them like Shriners or something.
Well, they have a shrine dedicated to Baphomet in the basement. I saw it on their Google Images.
Yeah,
That
and
would be
also
a
celebrities
hero.
have like tattoos of the Otto. It's kind of popular, like Scientology is also.
Yeah, there's also a lot of murders connected to Odo. So,
Yeah,
I didn't know about that.
yep. I was looking into cults before, and I was told to stay away from Odo. And there was another one I was told to stay away from too. I just can't remember it off the top of my
This
head.
was Aleister Crowley's brainchild, though, right? Because he wanted to separate from the Masons because they were too streamlined.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what Hubbard's son, which is Ronald, he claims Hubbard was obsessed with Aleister Crowley, and he had himself also like photographed in like poses like similar to Crowley poses on pictures.
Yeah, I highly believe that Xeno is mirrored off of what was that entity that Aleister Crowley said that he saw? I can't remember right now. God damn it!
Well, he used to use his wife as what they would call a medium. I know about that, but as far as
Yeah, he said that he saw an entity. I just can't remember what it was called. Fuck. I can't remember the name at all. It's like out of my head now. I don't know. There was an entity that he saw anyway where he claimed that he saw, but I mean, he claimed that it was a demonic spirit, but I just can't remember what it was called.
Much of the stuff of
They're
Aleister
great.
Crowley's magic is embedded into like the Dianetics stuff of Hubbard.
you know he was friends with the guy the German scientist of the
Liam. That's what it was. Liam. He claimed that he saw he conjured up a entity called Liam, Liam.
Hold on, let me look this up.
Yeah, no, it's true.
I just don't know the context of the name.
What star system was he from?
I have no idea, but the thing is that he claimed that he conjured up this entity and channeled Liam, and I really believe that L. Ron Hubbard's Xeno is based off of Liam from Aleister Crowley, because as John just said, there's a connection there between Aleister Crowley and Scientology.
Oh,
with
it was.
L.
I think
Ron
it was
Hubbard. He was
Lamb.
obsessed with Aleister Crowley.
Lamb was the name of this entity that he had. Yeah,
I thought it was Liam.
and I think it sa's L.A.
Well, that's close.
Well, I guess I'm close enough. That or CERN changed it. It's a joke.
But just to put the devil's advocate, and not literally, but Aleister Crowley was always on cocaine and using morphine on the daily. So like when he says that he saw stuff, like
right, yeah.
I mean, I get he's into the bad part of the occult, like the really, really bad part of the occult. There probably really was shit going on, but at the same time, he was on the daily using stimulants and opiates, and I'm just saying that there might be a little bit of drug-induced psychosis going on,
Oh no, absolutely.
He was friends.
Wasn't lying,
He was friends with also Winston Churchill and who's the guy, the main guy at Operation Paperclip, the NASA scientist, the German one.
Von Braun.
Werner von Braun.
Yeah, he was friends with him too.
Yeah.
There was a weird story about him and von Braun. They were using drugs and doing weird occult rituals somewhere. It was either, I think it was somewhere in Europe after the war. But I was just surprised that von Braun was involved with anything.
Well, the Nazis believed in the Black Sun God, where the SS were actually involved in the occult, and they were worshiping what they called the Black Sun. And the Nazi SS and Hitler actually contacted, fuck's her name? Oh my God.
The Vril. Yeah, they had.
Right. The Vril and Thule Society. I just can't remember her name.
Thule. There you go.
Yeah, Thule and Vril Society. Yeah. So they.
European.
So they had. Yeah, I can't remember her name though for the life of me. Maria Blavatsky. That's what it is. And
I thought.
No. But they were involved with the occult. The Nazi Germany was involved with the occult, so it doesn't surprise me that Aleister Crowley and Werner von Braun were doing occult rituals.
Yeah, I should make a little disclaimer with that. And that is at the end of the war, the Nazis pretty much tried everything to win, right?
Yeah,
so they were also doing that crazy stuff. Yeah, for sure.
Oh yeah, they had so many fucked up experiments, and Hitler went searching for the Spear of Longinus.
Well, no, the Spear of Destiny, the Spear of Longinus, they had. So that's one of those weird parts in history. I don't know if I'm breaking up or not, but that's one of those weird parts in history. The Spear of Destiny, the spear that pierced Christ's side, is split up into 3 parts. England had part of it, Nazi Germany had part of it, and America had part of it. I don't know where they are now. But whoever controls all 3 supposedly controls the world. And at one point, when it did seem like Germany was doing well in the war, they were in control of 2 parts of them.
Right, they were searching for the last part, right?
Yeah, and but it's been split still. And I don't know. I haven't. I know that historical part of it. I really don't know what happened to it afterward, or where it is now, or if it's in a museum, or any of that. But it was a real, something that people were looking for, and a real drive. Whoever held the Spear of Destiny controlled the world.
One ring to rule them all. 3 no.
Yeah, I mean it's so much whatever. I don't know if you can get into. Okay, so whoever holds the pointy stick controls the world. Yeah, sure.
Well, that shows how crazy.
You believe that if you want.
That shows how crazy that that governments are.
Well, what about the Spear of Destiny? Wasn't Hitler obsessed with the Spear of Destiny?
Yes.
The Spear of Destiny, the chalice, the Holy Grail, Thor's hammer. There was all sorts of
literally
weird,
everything you named. Anything you can think of. Yeah, he was obsessed with it.
That had that there was going to give them some magic ability to win the war. They were searching for.
Yep.
There's the story of the Glocke, which is the bell.
Glock. Yeah.
Yeah, the bell out there in Germany. They were going to try to what was that? They were going to time travel.
Yes, that's what they were. That's what they were trying to attempt to do.
Yeah, they were attempting time travel. Correct. Yeah, it was. They, like I said, they did so many fucked up experiments in Nazi Germany. They had the very first subliminal experiments were run in Nazi Germany. It wasn't running in the U.S. with MK Ultra. No, it was run in Nazi Germany, and then they brought those same people over here and then ran those experiments in the U.S.
The first Chimera? I know that they just made up, was all over the news that, they had managed to put a pig embryo and a person embryo together. But the Russian military during World War II was trying to make a half monkey man and impregnated a whole bunch of women with gorilla genes to try to.
No, this is real.
This is real, unfortunately.
In Nazi Germany, they tried to impregnate with, I think it was sheep or goat
Yeah,
DNA.
they wanted to get like the docile part of the animal world and like the thinking ability of the human world. So they tried to do all sorts of weird genetic experiments, including eugenics and breeding programs. The Germans had a big breeding program to get as many pregnant, German girls pregnant as possible. So they had like these retreats, and pretty much your whole weekend was just to fuck as many girls as you possibly could. To try to get the German numbers up and to build this like master race. It was a nightmare, man.
You know that lady from the band ABBA is actually one of from some breeding center.
So was Julian Assange.
Yeah, I don't.
They were all part of this cult where they were they collected up all of these like blonde-haired, blue-eyed kids. And we're trying to start a breeding program that these were the perfect children, and he was part of that like perfect children group. I don't know if a lot of people realize that the some of their story in Australia is interesting, to say the least.
Yeah.
So there's these pictures of him playing around. I know the one video is not identified. Or wasn't identified specifically as him, even though, they look remarkably alike. But this like breeding camp that they had of 20 of these like blonde-haired kids. It looks like Children of the Corn when you get 20 of these kids that look exactly alike together and don't let them see any sun.
Yeah, in the case of Assange, was actually like that kind of that weird cult, right? And that guy was actually. He was maybe obsessed with what the Nazis did then and trying to do the same or something, yeah.
Yeah, it was, it's there. I don't think that he's part of a cult. I don't think that he was part of any of that. But that part of their story is definitely there.
Yeah.
Because I know that his mom and them had a falling out with it. There's a whole emotional part of it that I don't really feel like getting into or going down that path. But this has been done several times to try these weird breeding and eugenics and science projects, experiments.
Yeah, but when it's more dangerous when you're trying to fuck with nature and create your own beast by merging human DNA with animal DNA. And
it's not that they're like, okay, well, what are you doing? Well, we're going to put the DNA of sharks into people so that people don't get cancer anymore. Oh, that's a great idea. Oh, no, we're going to breed superhumans so we can have unquestioning soldiers to murder anybody that we tell them to, with the strength of a gorilla but the intelligence of a man. That's a bad idea.
I would say just create an artificial intelligence robot by now.
Well, can you create anything that isn't only designed to murder each other? Like, you think you could maybe put just a little bit in the other direction?
No.
I know we ask a lot, but could you create one thing that its only purpose isn't to murder us?
No.
We're going to create half men, half monkeys to dominate the world. But what if the enemy has bananas? Have you thought of that?
Oh, man, that was a good one.
Foiled again, Batman.
What if the enemy has bananas?
Our entire army was brought to his knees by bananas. Surprise, motherfuckers.
Well, an army long term that had bananas would be in better shape because you'd have a lot of vitamin C and vitamin K.
A lot of potassium.
You'd
They're
be
not
healthier.
killing anybody.
Potassium,
They are in great health.
You'd be a stronger soldier. Healthier.
A stronger, healthier
That's one
soldier.
experiment. That's the one experiment that they will poison your water. They will spray poison over you. They will put poison in your food. They will never put vitamins into your food to see if the healthy population performs better. Never.
You got to take out the iodine. You got to screw them up, lower their IQ, a little more fluoride.
Yeah, it only goes in the other direction. Like, hey, let's do an experiment. Well, we'll give this town clean water and sunshine and see how they do. No,
See, I just find it really hilarious that Nazi Germany is on the record of using fluoride in high dosages to dumb down the population, and then now in the U.S. and elsewhere, they still use fluoride, but in the past couple of years, there has actually been people coming out within the medical community saying this doesn't do anything for your teeth. It literally kills
Screws
you.
them up.
Yeah,
it literally kills you and makes you stupid.
No, New Zealand's been having some back and forth about it because a lot of their places are not, they're natural springs and they're where they get their water. So they're not on the systems with fluoride, and a lot of these communities don't. And I thought that their answer was like really good because they're like, well, without fluoride in the water, we have no way to to clean it, to keep the pipes, to do all of that. And New Zealand was like, well, then let's make pipes that don't make everybody sick. Just an idea, right? We'll find pipes and water filtration systems that don't require us to fill ourselves with poison. That seems to be the smarter way to do it.
Another thing that New Zealand did was
these are the reasons why you can't
vaccines,
access New Zealand's news.
Oh yeah, that too. But if you criticize vaccines in New Zealand, it's now illegal, and you face 5 or 10 years in jail.
Some prison time.
Yeah, just for criticizing vaccines, just for saying, maybe, just maybe, some of the adjuvants that we use in these vaccines could be harmful to human beings. Just saying.
Yeah, it's one of those things, a lot of times with a lot of these technologies, GMOs, vaccines, all of them, it's not the technology itself that I have a problem with. Right? We could use GMOs to grow in harsh environments, to cure diseases, to make sure our plants and animals don't get diseases, to make sure we don't get diseases, right? Instead, it's given to Monsanto to fuck us over, right? You see, this technology is exactly the same. Do we need vaccines? Oh, totally. Are the people that are in charge of our vaccine horrible, backstabbing bastards from the pharmaceutical industry? Oh, yeah. Right? And that causes a whole bunch of problems. Do I think that we need them? Definitely. Do I trust the people that are giving to me? Definitely not. Right? And that's, we get into is the water, the government says the water in Flint's safe to drink. Is it safe? Oh, no, definitely not. But they'll tell you it is.
Yeah, exactly.
That's another government experiment, man. I mean, it's so obvious. How can you not have a water system for how many years? 5 years now? I mean,
yeah, we're at 5. They've embezzled all of the money. They made this huge deal. Oh, Flint's going to get $77 million. So you're going to give us $77 million to fix the water. Well, no. That's $77 million to look into making sure the water's fixed. So basically, y'all just gave yourself $77 million, and I still don't got no fucking drinking water.
Yeah, it's criminal.
Yeah, you have to think like a criminal. I mean, come on.
Well, I mean, for $77 million, there's not that many people in Flint. For $77 million, I can just give everyone fucking water filters. What are you using this money for?
Well, you got to pay your off-budget, budget,
Everybody has a mistress, and they have the court costs associated with all the divorces that come from having all those mistresses. And
that's it.
Let's be honest.
Yeah, those two.
The committee is going to cost us at least $12 million for the committee right off the bat. Right, I don't even know what the committee is. It's going to cost you $12 million. What do they do with these committees that cost us so much money? You're already a government employee. You're already getting paid. What are we paying all this fucking millions of dollars for?
Well, it's like the Mueller investigation. It's an investigation.
Yeah, but that's what I don't understand. You investigated government employees. You're literally being paid for me to ask you questions. You're on salary from the U.S. government, from the taxpayer. Whatever.
Well, I mean, the Mueller investigation's a joke. I mean, because they never even took any statement from Kim.com or from Julian Assange.
I don't think they wanted to.
Oh, speaking of Julian, I just came across this thing where an editor from WikiLeaks tried to get Julian's stuff out of the embassy, and the embassy will not let them into to get his shit.
There's nothing of his stuff left. We saw them take out the boxes.
Is that even
like they cleared They cleared that out.
Because they got him on a warrant for a different case, so that's not evidence relevant to the case. I don't know.
It doesn't have to be. It's
I don't
on
know how
embassy.
laws are
It doesn't.
in the UK.
It doesn't have to be. If you leave a bag at my house, this is private property. If you leave a bag at my house, it is now, and you leave, it is now my bag. I can go through it, give people permission to go through it. That doesn't count that way. This is an embassy. Once you leave the embassy, you have no rights to anything that's on an embassy land. That stuff all belongs to whoever the embassy belongs to. And they can give it away, they can send it away. They don't need a warrant. Like, I don't, if you're in my house and they come looking for you, they need the warrant for my house. They don't need the warrant for you. I can let them in. That's my prerogative.
So you're telling me that they took even his skateboard?
I think they took absolutely everything that he's ever looked at out of that place. Every plant that he walked by, every light fixture. I'm sure they went through that place with a fine-tooth comb.
Oh, no, they were running it out, actually.
Every used condom. I'm not saying anything was going on, but there could have bbeen. I want to see.
I
these
sure
tapes.
hope so.
Where are
Being that
these
he's looking at
tapes?
some hard time, I'm sure hope that he got some loving before they fucking put him away. That would have been top on my list if I knew the U.S. government was going to put me in some deep dark hole.
Yeah, I wouldn't worry too much about his stuff. He already knew everything of this, and he already knew even that they were listening to him and videotaping him. Because the other WikiLeaks editor, he even said it. Every time he came over to Assange would put a radio on the table, and he would put the sound of the radio to max, because he knew they were listening to him, and he would like whisper with his WikiLeaks editor, because he knew they were listening. So.
Yep.
This is what the editor said. He said,
And the book that he was holding when he was dragged out, that's not by accident. That's 100%. That's 100%. He did that on purpose. He probably grabbed the first thing that he
I think he probably, because he was trying to make this the one little statement that he possibly could. So I mean, I think all of that was done more than on purpose. He knew whatever was in his hand, people were going to see. I am personally so proud of the way that Julian handled himself during the arrest, the way that he stayed strong. I mean, looking against the odds that he's looking at and the people that he's up against, I mean, that was absolutely amazing. That's the kind of stones that we need in journalism. Like, they literally took him out kicking and fucking screaming. That was awesome.
Yep.
Like, he didn't relent. They would like you to, with your head down, that you've been somehow beaten, and that, you know what I mean? They make this statement that they want to make, that they're all powerful, and he didn't give them any of that. And that was real inspiring to see.
That wasn't your typical perp walk. That wasn't your El Chapo kind of perp walk that they put you.
No, because he wasn't going. El Chapo wasn't putting up a struggle.
Well, that guy knew he was fucked.
Yeah, like Julian, Julian put up every, they like literally pulled him out kicking and screaming, and you saw how long it took them to get him out of that room. I know, there's a reason we haven't seen the video of their arrest, because I got a sneaking suspicion he was like holding on to the door, like the door frames and shit.
Probably, yeah.
I mean, they had him. They had both. They had two guys on his feet, two guys on his hand, and he was still screaming. You know what I mean? Of the injustice, and that was just. I mean, it's something that you don't see, right? They like to do the perp walk. They like to show everybody that you've been beaten.
Yeah.
And I mean, he didn't give off any. He didn't, like I said, he didn't give them any of that.
Well, the topic of El Chapo, has he released his clothing line yet? I mean,
he had a clothing line.
What's it called? Smuggler's Run?
No, I have no idea what it's called, but I just saw the article and I was like, "There's no way this is real. This has to be The Onion." And I was like, "Oh my God, Republic? It's real."
What is El Chapo's El Chapo's clothing line?
I'm not sure. Google it. I'm not sure what it's called. I forget, but I just
black ski mask.
I found it fucking the most funniest thing in the world. I was just
leather
like,
boots.
I was like, this guy goes to prison for selling drugs.
So that you can get the right axe swing down. How is that?
And he needed weapons too, right? Some body armor.
maybe just like
That would
to
be
put your
funny.
guns or,
That'd
the
be
random
funny if body
finger.
armor picked up El Chapo.
Yeah, only one.
Let's do a
you know,
GoFundMe for El Chapo.
on a hard day's work of extortion, murder, and drug dealing, I like the comfort of an El Chapo athletic shoe.
You're going to get shot at. Let's be honest. So here's some body armor. You need it.
Oh,
You're going to need it.
I can see
Oh,
him,
man.
like looking over some beautiful fucking cocaine fields in the morning as the sun comes up, you know, sipping his coffee. El Chapo.
The most
You're gonna
interesting
love
man in the
You're
world.
gonna love the way you look. I guarantee it.
Jesus.
Oh God.
The small print
That's-
would be, we're not responsible for any choices you make in this lifestyle.
El Chapo
We're out
not
of this one.
directly, not directly responsible for murders, killing, or drug dealing.
Can you do it a little faster?
Well, 'cause that's how they put him. That's how they put him in the fucking
Yeah.
bottom rail on the end, right? Like they like to see
Yeah, the
that in.
infomercials. Yeah. I remember those. It's
May
like,
cause anal leakage.
yeah, this
What was
drug
that?
may
What
cause.
did you say? What did you say at the end? What was that?
may cause death. Yeah.
Yeah, they always throw that one in real quick at the end because the rest of
Yeah.
it sound real good, but when you add the may cause death, it makes me weigh my choices a little bit more. Like I have lost weight, but between the anal leakage and the death, I guess I was better off heavier, really. Like maybe, you know, like, oh, you feel better about yourself. I did have high self-esteem before the anal leakage. That is a real downer in any medication.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, that's-
Extra cost. And
oh.
they didn't say how much.
So, yeah,
Oh, God.
I want to look into El Chapo clothing. And see, he was already third or fourth richest man in the world. What? He was the one that was on the cover of Forbes.
His clothing
Actually-
line is named El Chapo.
Oh yeah,
Well, of course.
Actually, he was his according to his a lot of the stuff that came out of his case. His financial situation was in shambles towards the end.
Yeah.
There was already the rise of a silent drug lord that was already taking his territory. In fact, the other guy was worth, I believe, 10 times what El Chapo was worth. They just went after the small fry. I thought El Chapo was the big kahuna, but apparently he was not. The other guy who was worth more than him was always quiet about what he was doing, but El Chapo would they said he would flaunt around all of his shit. That's why he got caught.
Yeah, and a lot of the other rival drug lords wanted him dead, believe it or not. So
No.
Yeah, they just worked a new deal with the CIA, and there he goes. Boom. Move on to the next guy.
Hey, no love lost among criminals, right? It's just part of the business.
He can't pull
Sorry.
another Batman escape out of
It's just-
that FedMax or whatever the hell he's in.
Nothing
Ah,
personal.
you haven't seen this new clothing line though, right? Like,
What does he have? Exploding pants?
I was maybe
exploding
like,
pants.
yeah, they blend into shit. Maybe it's just like a cop outfit, and you just walk right out.
Hey, good idea, man.
Just add water, turns into a cop outfit.
Yeah, you don't know. You don't know what. You don't know what. Look, the last prison he just straight up walked out of. Later, guys.
No. No, he dug a hole, wasn't it?
Yeah, there was
Yeah,
a
this
tunnel
little-
dug for like a mile, and then
His
Yeah, it was
crew
like
dug
a,
a
yeah, it
and
was
a
a long
motorcycle
tunnel.
he rolled out of there with.
Yeah, it was like a Batman escape.
It
It was
worked.
like something you would have seen out of like a Batman movie.
He brought
Yeah, it
his
literally
own.
was.
He brought his own motorcycle.
No, his,
Nah, that was
his
supply.
crew did.
No, yeah, somebody brought. Yeah, they dug a hole. They dug him out, and then he got on the motorcycle and then rode away.
As you would. Nothing. I just to know, did like anything explode behind him? I imagine fucking El
It was
Chapo taking
yeah, it
off
was-
on this fucking Harley with explosions and stuff. Maybe some slow motion.
That sounds too
Chapo.
movie-like. Yeah, no.
Hey, remember he met with Sean Penn like a week before he got
Yeah,
busted?
yeah.
Yeah.
He was supposed to
That
meet up
was
with
weird,
that Latino actress, and Sean Penn fucked it up because it was in good faith that they were doing an interview on him, but Sean Penn tried to sway. I don't know. I'm not sure exactly what he was supposed to do, but he didn't do what he was supposed to do, and kind of made it about him and El Chapo, even though the actress had introduced him to El Chapo. And that was like a week before he got arrested. There was another attempt about a couple months before that where he was at one of his houses, I think on the coast, on the Baja coast, and he had a security door that was made out of like 1 inch thick steel, and he somehow got out the back like another Batman escape. They couldn't get in. They couldn't get into his house.
I just want to know how fucking crazy you are to get blindfolded and then get drove to a fucking
drug lord's house.
No, there was an airplane. They were
Compound.
blindfolded on an airplane for that interview and driven for I think a couple of hours. So they were blindfolded for quite a long time before. Most likely he was hiding in the Sinaloa Mountains where he always is. I mean, it really wasn't that hard to figure out.
More than likely, but I mean, still, I don't understand what would be going through your head.
At what point are you like, look, I'm not stressing anybody out, but is this a kidnapping? I just want to know.
Yeah, seriously.
Like, at what point do I say, okay, yeah, this is a kidnapping, I need to talk to my agent?
Well, no, like, El Chapo had the hots for the actress, so nothing bad was going to happen to her. I mean...
Okay, well, I don't want to be...
That
doesn't make me feel any better. If you're like, hey, am I being kidnapped? And they're all like, well, he really likes the actress, so you're just kind of extra. That's not what I want to hear in a kidnapping situation. That you're just like kind of collateral on the way, and you really just want to get into her. And I'm the guy that came with her. I'm like first up to get rid of.
Yeah.
Sean Penn's pretty whacked. You ever seen a picture of him lately? I mean, he's been seriously hitting the bottle hard, man. I mean, he's trashed.
I don't really know that much. I mean, to be honest, I don't really know that much. You can't be in that great of a mindset to meet blindfolded.
Well, I know this is not the first time he's fucked over somebody, but fucking somebody over with an interview with a known drug lord, like, this is just stuff that you don't do. Like
yeah,
I'm like, they have machine guns. This could go wrong anyway based on what you're saying. I mean, like, why? Like, I don't know.
Well, maybe he got tired of making movies that were fake. He wanted some real life, experience.
And is he going to play El Chapo or no?
That could be.
Yeah, I mean, that would be my first. I
haven't seen that guy in anything in a good minute.
Well, now now he's gotten the experience. He's probably still trying to get over it. See, that's what's taking so long. He's freaked the fuck out, so it's going to take a little while.
He's got once the trials and all of that stuff done, maybe write a book, about your harrowing experience to go to meet El Chapo.
But he didn't even organize it. He just was along for the ride.
Well, I mean, that can't, I don't know how they caught him and all of that stuff, but did they just, watch where Sean Penn went? I mean, he's such a big figure. I know that you did it secret, but, I mean, how hard is it to follow your private jet to your private airport to watch the private limo drive around for 2 hours?
I mean, how much did they do it in secret? Did they use text messages? Because they used text messages. The NSA was right there listening.
So
even then, I mean, when you know that they're looking for you, the Predator drone can't find your black limo? How many it just doesn't make any sense. But, did those two things have anything to do with it, or they just happened to be busting him, at the same time right after Sean Penn was there?
I mean, if he snitched on El Chapo, he's dead. That's
that's what I'm saying. It's probably not a good thing to have snitched on El Chapo.
That's why he's still hiding.
Oh, no, he did a movie in 2019.
Really?
Yeah, The Professor and the Madam. Never heard of it, but there you go.
Jesus, he looks like he's been juicing.
Yeah, I straight up Googled.
Oh yeah, he's trash, man. You just see it. He's got to be power alcohol, man.
Gotta stop using Google and use Presearch.
Well, okay, I can't tell you how everything is going for Sean Penn, but I will tell you in The Professor and the Madam, it's Sean Penn and Mel Gibson, and Mel Gibson is in the front of the photo.
They're both alcoholics.
Oh, that's true.
Boy, that had to be some fun conversations.
You know what's going on behind the set there?
Remember
yeah.
when Mel Gibson was doing a lot of, he would get trashed and he would say all these anti-Semitic shit.
Oh, I think
Yeah.
Mel Gibson.
Oh, yeah, he got in trouble.
My,
Yeah.
he was
Yeah, I
hilarious.
do
no,
remember
he got
that,
pulled over
yeah.
by that. He got pulled over by.
It wasn't a
that
couple.
cop
It wasn't like once. It happened like 4, 5, 6 times.
Oh,
He got.
Yeah.
he got pulled over by the cops first for being drunk out of his mind, and then goes on like an anti-Semitic fight. You're all a bunch of Jews. I mean, he goes nuts, and this cop is just like, "Sir, you're drunk. Calm down." Right? And he's going fucking nuts. And then he left all of these like insane like or voice messages and text messages on his ex-wife's phone.
I remember that. Yeah.
And then the one that got me, because him and Danny Glover were so close, right? And the one that got me is he calls her up and he's like, "I hope you get raped by a pack of niggers." And I'm all like, "Wait a minute, a pack? Do we come in packs? What the fuck is that?" Like, I'm upset about you dropping the N-bomb, but packs? Like, we don't even get gangs anymore? What the fuck, Mel? Yeah. So yeah, that whole thing was just fucked up. And he'd go on these like unrelated, racist, sexist fucking tirades on his ex-wife's phone. And then she recorded one and leaked it to the media of him freaking out. So you know what he does. He knows she's recording it, so he calls her up and freaks out again.
That's when you know when people get so angry they get their intelligence level just like goes down about 100 points.
Hey, turn it down.
Yeah, I get to that point. Yeah.
Stupid angry.
Yeah. God. That's my weakness.
Yeah,
It's my
you watch
anger.
yourself with that.
Yeah, I try not to get like celebrity news is hilarious to just like drive by, but I can't get too involved because it is a circus. It's just a complete and utter circus.
Well, in general, it seems like once their careers kind of drop off, they go into serious drunken binges that last like decades. And yeah, it's
Johnny
kinda-
Depp is a heroin addict. You know.
Oh, don't tell me that.
He's been a heroin addict for a long time.
No, stop.
We just lost like all our listeners. They don't want to hear that stuff. Johnny Depp is like a hero.
Remember when he was on the stage? He was supposed to do an awards show, and he was just like shit-faced drunk. And they told him he couldn't even stand upright.
I mean, that's okay. I mean, that doesn't mean that he's a drunk or a heroin addict. That just means he got messed up. I mean, that I drink every once in a while to get drunk. If you catch me, I would be drunk.
He's a user, not an abuser.
Yeah, that's the deal. It's, you know what I mean?
User, not an abuser.
He knows how to control it.
I've seen him play on stage though, because sometimes he'll go on stage with Manson. I've seen him do that. He is a pretty good guitar player.
Yeah, I've seen him play. There's a couple of movies where he actually plays in that he's real good.
Yeah, I remember seeing it was Slayer and Manson, and then Slayer went on first, and then I was like, who the fuck is that guy with the hat that's like all the way down? I'm like, that's not anybody from the Manson crew. And like my friend told me, he's like, that's Johnny Depp, and I was like, holy shit.
Johnny Depp rocks. Oh, yeah, that would be cool. Yeah, that's why I don't want to hear the heroin thing. I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that. I'm not saying it's not true. I don't know if it's true or not true.
Oh, here we go censoring. Don't want to hear it. Just the truth. Come on.
Yeah, just the truth. Damn it. So hard to find so hard to find like an actor that doesn't end up being all fucked up like that.
Oh, that's because Hollywood is literally drug dealers calling up stars and being like, "Yeah, want some drugs? Want some drugs?"
Yeah, there's some of them, like whoever the drug dealer is for Hollywood, would y'all quit selling them roofies? Right? Like I understood the first time that you know you got caught and you know what was his name from the fucking
Bill Cosby.
Bill Cosby. Like the first time I dig it. Like the first time I dig it. Like, okay, you gave him the roofies. But after like this has been a 30-year fucking thing, like who was still selling him roofies? You're a dick.
You're a dick.
Like at a certain point, like, okay, look, man, you're not gonna use these to rape that girl again, are you? Like enough's enough. Like you know, like there was never a time where you thought this isn't right. Nope, just kept on selling them the roofies. That's what I want to know. I want to know who the asshole that kept on selling them these was.
It's out there. Court records. Name's been said.
Maybe. Yeah, I don't know who the court records are, but you're a total dick. In bird culture, that is considered a dick move.
Bird culture.
I'm trying to go through our last parts of the list here. We did Facebook did ban. I don't know if we didn't talk about it, but Facebook did ban Louis Farrakhan, Alex Jones, that
Alex
asshole
Jones. I thought Alex
Breitbart.
Jones has been banned.
Nah, this is a new ban.
Not fully, not from Instagram
Yeah.
and some of the others, but they got him completely this time.
Yeah, so now he's all the way off, and I think it's several social media networks did it, but Facebook was the big one, the most viewers, and there was a few other people here and there that they banned.
So what are they? Are they banning Infowars.com completely now?
No, any
I
fan
don't-
pages or anything related to anything on Infowars will not be on Facebook. That's
Yeah,
that's what I've got. They have actually programmed the AI bot to go after anything related to Infowars or anybody that they have banned.
So if anybody posts Infowars.com, they're going to get banned, or are they just
Yeah, see,
going to
that's
leave
what
a
I don't
picture
understand.
link?
Could happen. Yep.
Yeah, see, that's what I don't understand. So
It is happening.
if we post a video, of Alex Jones saying something, and we're talking about it or whatever, does that get banned? Or how does that?
Well, yeah,
That's
because
what
they
you
shut
said right
down.
now.
They did that to Joe Rogan. He was talking about Alex Jones after that first round, and they shut off his live feed.
Oh, I believe
Really?
it. I know he had him.
Yeah.
He had. I watched
He's
the,
had him on,
part
but
two.
they also sent a message to Joe there one time. It's like, hey, we just told you not to talk about this guy, and like a day later you're talking about it.
You're talking about him again. Well, why can't I talk
Yeah.
about him? You censored him, not me. I can't talk about you censoring him. Like, what the fuck?
Look, it's slave land.
Yeah, I know he had him
you
on
sit
for a
down
part
and you
two.
Shut up.
Well, with Alex, just let him talk. Like, you know what I mean? It's hilarious. Like you can't believe it's too funny to take off. Like, what if you say? I mean, with Alex, like, what if you say it's satire? Do you still have to take it down? Because I mean, in some respects, it's definitely.
Look.
I see it as satire. This isn't real. You're a nut job.
This is Slavelandia. You sit down and you shut up. That's
I
what
hate
you do.
Slavelandia. Yeah.
I mean, here's the thing. Here's the thing with Alex Jones. He puts out a mixture between information and misinformation.
I don't think
And
he
it's
knows what's going on.
Always been that way. No,
Yeah,
I highly disagree because he had Stratford employees that were working there, and I really do believe that because if you look back at Alex's father's history, he was involved in. Last time I checked, he was in some intelligence agency. I can't
Yeah,
remember
he
off
was
the top
like
of my head.
FBI or CIA.
Yeah,
like
I can't
covert
remember
ops
who.
Stuff.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah. I know he's talked about it here and there. Is why he has some of the he claims to have some of the connections that he has is through his dad and all of that. I mean, I don't know. The chances, knowing anything about the military, about any of that, the chances of them giving information to somebody's son for the simple reason of they're your son is slim to none. I don't, your father being in charge of something, unless you're continuing to work in that industry, the chances of them telling you anything is so slim.
Well, here's the thing, because my source, the murdered former LA director, FBI Ted L. Gunderson, I've had sources passed from him onto me that were his sources, so I disagree with that. I think that he might have had some sources from his father, but like I said, he constantly has put out information and misinformation, and then sometimes full-on disinformation. Like Alex Jones, early on, but when this whole Q thing was going on, he jumped on board at first and said, "Oh, this is legit," and then spun around and said that it wasn't. So, I mean...
Well, I think that probably had more to do with his viewers, that just a whole bunch of people went over to Q and quit watching his show.
Right. So then So then he decided that he was going to pull a stunt where he was going to cover Q to basically get views. And that's what it's about for a lot of these people. It's about the views, it's about the clicks, and they'll do whatever for the clicks.
I think it's pretty obvious we don't do shit for clicks or views. We know we're doing right when we lose viewers. Oh, because if you're not pissing people off, then you're not saying the right things, right? Because you're not challenging their thoughts.
Yeah, you got to piss somebody off, right?
Yeah, because I mean, there's people that get on
pretty
and
much inevitable.
Yeah, but when we go live, they're all like, "Oh, these motherfuckers."
These fags, fame fags. That's what you are.
You know what that sounds like? That sounds like that would be the conversation that's going on at the NSA. These fuckers.
These fuckers.
Yeah, Alex Jones has admitted that he spread this info in the past on the Joe Rogan show. Like, he also said it. That
did he really? I didn't even see that.
Like in 1999, when it was like almost like the new millennium, right? And he was asked by the radio bosses of the radio station he was working back then, was like also already Genesis Communication Network. He was asked to cover the Millennium bug, right? Saying that everything would like crash, everything would be destroyed, and he didn't believe in it.
Yeah,
so he said at Joe Rogan he didn't believe in it, but he was still doing it because they asked him for higher ratings to do it, and later they fired him anyway. So, but he didn't believe it, but he still covered it. So.
Well, that's why you shouldn't have done it to begin with. Like, if that's exactly why you shouldn't have done it to begin with. Like, have some integrity.
Basically, he just admitted. Yeah, so basically, he just admitted that the Genesis Network asked him to basically throw his integrity away and do a fake story. Right.
Yeah, he'd still be doing it if they hadn't fired him. Like, when somebody asks you to violate your integrity like that, you have to think that, if they're that dishonorable to the truth, imagine how dishonorable they're going to be to you. Like, you expect that these people that ask you to do these terrible things and violate who you are not going to turn around and turn on you. The reason they're asking you to do that shit is because they're bad people. We want you to scare the public so that we get more views. That's what they're asking you to do.
Yeah, no, that's 100%. That's exactly what he was doing too, scaring the public.
Yeah, and if you are selling out for a little like higher ratings, what would you do if you actually do get threatened? Right? Then
he'd fold in a heartbeat.
Oh well, yeah.
I think he did. He got pushed a little bit about what was going on in his show, and he said, "Oh well, it's all the reason his actual show stopped was because he said it was just an act, right? He really isn't that upset."
Yeah, no, he said he was an actor. He did say that.
Yeah, I'm just
that was for legal purposes during a divorce. So he wants to have it both ways.
Yeah. Yeah, it makes no sense. Yeah. Well, I mean, it does. I'm glad that
he said it.
Yeah, he said it. Is like you said it. How's that taste? But I mean, that's why I saw him on Joe Rogan. His last, they had their falling out and just Alex's normal rants. he went back on Joe Rogan for number 2, and holy crap, he was in like I don't know if he was high, what he was doing, but I mean just pinging back and forth from one thing to another, like you couldn't like Joe would say like one thing here and there, and it would just set Alex off on a 5-minute tirade about nothing.
He is
kind of a melting pot of mental illness.
He said he literally said on the show, I remember watching it, he said, I'm kind of retarded.
Yeah,
well, not only that, like Joe Rogan was kind of staring at him like he had some sort of mental illness, like you know.
Well, that this guy is losing it in front of you.
Yeah, he was talking about aliens and shit, and I was like,
well, not just aliens. He was talking about the intergalactic lizard people, which are my favorite conspiracy.
Oh god,
no, that
really?
This was the link between. This is using DMT. This is like the secret CIA shit.
Yeah.
He can tell you about, but he can't tell you who because it's secret, and you never get to see him. Well, anyway, they're trying to use DMT to communicate with this other entity. This goes right along with the Vril and what you were talking about before.
Yeah. No.
Communicating.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Aliens,
They're the ether of the
DMT.
Universe.
No, that's actually true though. He was talking about how everybody who's done DMT has seen a creature not from this earth, and that's true.
That's not a lie, by the way. I know guys who've used that too, and they've seen it too. So I've never heard of LSD.
Well, I mean
ever.
that may be something that it's activating in your brain as well. I mean, you are taking a drug, so I mean your brain is affected by drugs, whether it's a enlightening experience or not. All of the things that come with that, if it activates that same part of everybody's brain, you will still see shadows and apparitions and all of that.
Yeah, but when you take DMT, what it does is it activates the chemical in your brain that's used within sleep. So you might be having a vivid dream.
But all the
in a conscious state.
Yeah, that is the question. Why is everyone seeing the same thing?
Well,
just to play
devil's advocate here. There's a long belief system, in that realm, which was it's been going on for thousands of years. It's called modern day shamanism, where they would use plants to give them visions, and the common belief is that stuff stuff like like ayahuasca and DMT.
Yeah, right. Yeah, they use
your soul would literally leave your body to get higher enlightenment and to learn something. So I mean, if you believe in that concept, it's not totally out of the picture. But
the CIA did. CIA, if they believed in remote viewing, and they believed that people could. Yeah, it's a military. It's literally a military program.
Project. Yeah, it was another project for remote viewing.
It
was called the Star Wars Project, and they spent
a lot of time and money on it.
Yeah, and you have to wonder did they get results? Because if they didn't get results, why did they continue the experiments? Right?
Yeah, they spent almost like $1 billion.
Ingo Swann was one of the test subjects in this program, and he says that he detailed spots on the moon, and then they went up there and they dug. See, it's really interesting if you go in and read these documents, because it shows a whole nother world of the space industry that hasn't been publicly disclosed.
Well, because a lot of those, where you were talking about before, a lot of these scientists that kind of built our space agency were extremely involved in the occult. There was a time that seances were done in the White House to talk to dead children and all of that. At that same time, the occult was seen as kind of a trendy thing to be a part of.
It was at the turn of the century. It really was.
Yeah, so a lot of people were into especially remote viewing, seances, dealing with the spirit world. You know, all of these things were much more common than you would expect.
Seances,
what we see in
seances were
today's world.
popular. Yeah.
Yeah, really popular. Like I said, they were done at the White House specifically for dead children, but extremely popular. And a lot of, like I said, a lot of the scientists in the beginning of NASA, in the beginning of our space agents, in the beginning of the CIA, were a part of these cults and rituals and occult thinking. If our viewers get a chance to look it up, it is a really interesting part of culture, because it was such a big trend in a time when we kind of like to view the 50s, the 40s and 50s as being a very like conservative time when spiritually it was really the exact opposite. These were snake handlers and seances and wildness.
Yeah, Houdini even went out to try and disprove them. It was such a problem. He thought that all of them were fakes.
Well, they're still doing it. They launched the Iraq War on the what do they call it when Mars was at its closest approach to Earth. That day when the Iraq War.
Yeah, they use planetary alignments.
They like all this astrology and
yeah.
So I'm going to go out on a limb and say they got it wrong. The first little bit really went our way, but after about 2 weeks, it started to really go downhill. So word to the wise, if you're doing it by astrology, whatever day we invaded Iraq on, don't do that one again. That was a bad day.
Well, but they invaded Iraq with the Mars constellation. Jesus, I'm tired.
You invoked the god of war and wondering why this has been a 15-year fucking ongoing adventure? Thanks, guys.
You don't mess with the gods.
Right,
known better.
Yeah, could you please next time invoke the god of hurry the fuck up and get the fuck out of here? Because those are the two that we want to talk to.
Oh no, you're going to get Jupiter and Saturn's going to be the best one.
Jupiter and Saturn.
We're saving for that. We're going to save that for the end.
Yeah, because I would say that if you were going to invite a deity to give you quick victory, I'm not sure if inviting a deity whose only job is war would get you into an endless war for profit. I could see how that would happen.
That was the goal. That was the goal.
Fun.
It's like a blood oath kind of. You're in tune with the stars, right? Why not?
Yeah, if you don't think that the elite care about numerology and they care about astrology, listen to the speech by Christine Lagarde on the importance of the number 11. That's a very interesting one, where she goes on and talks about the importance of numerology.
The designing of DC is another one of those where it's very, very heavy in numerology and astrology.
Numerology was also important to the Jewish mystics in Kabbalism. So.
It's why, there's a lot of numbers that are involved with, even down to what certain bills are called. To us, it'll just be, HR, blah, 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 and you don't actually realize that the numbers that are involved sometimes have significance. Where you just you just think of it when you walk by and don't realize that even some of the buildings in D.C. and in our government, the reason that they have the numbers that they have is for those numbers' importance. You'll have to look at the cornerstones at some of those buildings, and you'll see it.
Masonic, Egyptian mythology and Masonic astronomy melded together is basically what DC is.
Yeah, that's why you see obelisks everywhere. There's lots of Egyptian. The building of the temple and the first Masons that were involved in that all have their are put to use, and when they've built some of those
obelisks
buildings.
Obelisks are seen as pillars of power.
Oh, I bet they are, you dirty bastard. Yeah, well, no,
it's the generative force.
That's exactly what they are, which is why it's weird. Like, why? Okay, I understand that it's the male power, sign of power, fertility, and the phallus, but did you seriously put dicks all over my fucking city? That's cool.
Yeah.
And we brought some extra ones over too because we didn't have enough.
You didn't have enough dicks to put up there, but still, like,
That's right.
I don't. But it's the sign
Real.
of the male phallus. Yeah, I'm just saying, I don't think that our symbol should be dicks everywhere. No wonder this place is all messed up.
Well, you got to get back to the beginning. It was Horus, Isis,
Yep.
forgetting
Seemed
the other
like
one
there-
here right on.
Seemed like there was a lot more variety. You guys really focused on the phallus here, didn't you?
Hey, well, they were
Really?
ancients. What else? You had a lot of time. You didn't have you didn't get to have time to mess with your iPhone. You had to go do something else.
Oh. I guess.
You didn't have time to mess with your
yeah.
iPhone.
Let's go mess with the gin, black magic. Throw some dice, chicken bones, whatever it takes. We got to get something.
Bring out the old
going.
Ouija board.
Oh God.
Yeah.
No, not the Ouija board.
No, because the
Well,
Ouija
catering
board
to the
wasn't
elite.
the Ouija board was one of those things that wasn't invented until the 50s, right? That was something that came with that whole like occultism and all of that.
It's
at
been
the
around
turn of
for
the
a
century.
minute. I think
Yeah.
I
more
thought
than a couple
the Ouija
hundred
board
years.
was actually created by a
Mattel,
company.
no, Mattel got an idea, but the concept for something like that has been around for a lot longer than that. I think Mattel was just
Probably from the Salem witch trials, to be honest. I mean,
Oh no, this goes back to Babylon and earlier. The mystery
Yeah.
schools have been around a long time.
really,
thousands
the
of
Ouija
years.
board is from really?
Oh, not Ouija, but the
Similar
Yeah, so I
things.
think like that's
symbolic and all
being
that,
like
that type of thinking is
using
the-
possession to scribe. I mean that part is where that kind of possession.
That's
but
basically what it
Oracle-
is scrying.
Yeah, the Oracle of Delphi, that you can tap into the spirit world and get a thing. But July 1890. So yeah, right at the turn of the century, Elijah Bond designed it. And this is the only reason I knew this is the word Ouija, right? Oujiji was really the first letters that when he made the board that they that they came up with, so the very first time, 1890, that they used it, those letters, Ouija, was the word that it came up with the first time that they used it. But it's not an ancient way of scribing, right? It was in, like, that version was invented, turn of the century. By a cult used by a cultist. Yeah, there's not a huge guy came back, diving skull from World War I, came up with the idea. In Ohio, of all places.
Interesting.
Yeah, but there was like the idea of scribing, the idea, like I said, the Oracle of Delphi, that part, that's been around forever. But Ouija, we can thank Hasbro for that.
We can thank Hasbro.
Yeah, so demon possession in the modern world, thanks Hasbro.
Is any of you guys
That's what it
educated
is.
into Discordianism, or do you know what this is?
Discord.
A little bit, just from talking to Disco and everything. But yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, like I don't. That's what is his name? Yeah, like I don't know a whole bunch about it. Another like existentialism view,
Yeah, it's
but yeah,
somewhat
I
like
don't know a lot about it.
It's somewhat like a parody religion, but it has some interesting basis behind it, and that is like you have like the illusion of order, right, and the illusion of chaos, and
yeah.
if you recognize all these symbols we use in the West, that they are all made like orderly symbols, like dots connected with each other. You have like the pentagon or the pyramids or the crosses. And then you have like two different mindsets. And one mindset is to actually see this symbol. And the other mindset is to see the dots as separate dots, right? And that's like and then you have like the Western societies being like pushing this illusion of order to make these symbols everywhere. And in the moment there is like a big attack against the West, for example, it is actually the orderly symbols being attacked. Like when they are constantly pushing the mathematical symbols of order against us. When we see the Pentagon being attacked by a bomb or by a terrorist, We want to recreate the order again. So we get like this very unsatisfying satisfying feeling inside us. We don't know why. And we want to actually hunt the people who attack our order because they represent chaos to us. They are the terrorists, so to speak. And it is all subliminal. They are doing this subliminal with us. That's why they attack the orderly symbols, and we send out our armies to restore the order, right? But we actually create also the chaos behind it because it is all
Ordo of Chow.
Yeah, it's an illusion of order that's sitting on top.
Our order, their chaos. That's the way I always look at it.
Yeah, it's actually the coin with two sides, right? The one side is the chaos, one is the order, and
because you wouldn't need that. You wouldn't need that. You know, you wouldn't. Without one, you can't. You know, they keep order by keeping you thinking there's chaos on the other side of the world, right? That's why we have to do all of these things to continue to keep everything in order, right? To keep everything balanced. Even though
I was going to say with the government, it's a double-headed coin.
Yeah, when they're talking about order and peace, that means your submission. That's really what it means. You have to, read through the lines with these people. That's what they mean by peace, is when they kick your ass and you're on your knees submitting to them. Then we can have peace.
It's only after you give up all that you are, then there's peace. You know, it's always something that's in the future. You have to give for you to achieve peace. You know, peace isn't, us working together, right? Peace is us all bowing our head to the oppressors.
That's right.
Right? That's their version of peace, is not our version of peace.
So you can create anything. It's just like there's always all this chaos over nothing. If you really look at it, it's just made up stuff. So you can just make it up, be offended by it, and then, of course, you have to do something. It'll just all follow you. You're so psychopathic that this is
most of the chaos is it comes from religion, and it comes from differences in religion.
And
if you don't have that, you can use race or just make up something. Gulf of Tonkin, whatever it takes.
Yeah, I mean, there's always something. I mean, it's race, it's religion, it's what I'm an ism that you're not. There's one of our isms are not compatible, right? Those are always number ones. Your capitalism, communism. We have to fight to the death. Why? Because that's what we do, right? There's no logic to it.
So it's like Venezuela. They've trained you to do this. Like, oh, there's a problem in Venezuela. Well, that means we need to attack, right? Oh, they have oil. Well, shit, that's our oil.
Yeah,
we need to control it. I mean,
my favorite quote from John Bolton is about, we're going in Venezuela for oil. Really? You're not going to hide that? You're really just going to say that outright? Well,
yes, and
that was almost as bad as 5,000 troops to Venezuela that was on.
Oh no, he doesn't want to send.
No, it was on a piece of paper. Remember?
He doesn't want to send 5,000 troops. He wants to send 5,000 mercenaries from Blackwater. That was him and Eric Prince, right? Eric Prince wants to send 5,000 mercenaries to Venezuela.
They have to see they're so brazen that they can actually reveal the method to you, and you're so stupid and cowardly that you'll go and they know they have you. We can tell you about our crimes, reveal it to you, and go on about our business. And you're just good sheep. You just go along, do what you're told.
I mean, to me, that's
you're not
just
upset about it, or
It's a huge fuck you to our military, right? A huge fuck you to our military, because we've got things in place to keep that from happening. You don't get to send mercenaries to do your dirty work. If you want to, if you need to use military force, then you need to go to Congress and go through the proper channels. You don't get to send your own private murderers and rapists down there to hurt people. That's fucked up.
But you do now, because Congress has abdicated responsibility, given it all to the executive. They can actually start wars now. They may or may not have authorization. We can argue about all that, but it marches on. It's just all nonsense. None of these branches are doing what they're supposed to do. There's no cross checks or balance of power and all this nonsense. They're worthless. That's That's why Anonymous and the Anonymous Army are coming. We're not going to take this crap anymore.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Speaking of which,
Wake up,
Benny.
damn it.
Speaking of which, Ola Benny, a programmer of privacy software, was recently denied an appeal of his illegal imprisonment. Like, there's no reason for him to be locked up. You know, it's not illegal to code privacy software.
Oh yeah, and he's being kept. He was arrested at the same time as
Same time as Julian Assange was arrested.
Yes,
around the same time period, and he was a alleged WikiLeaks associate, and certainly looks like they're not only just going after Julian Assange, it looks like they're going after WikiLeaks as an organization itself.
Well, I definitely say that, WikiLeaks is a pretty, unknown target. Like, they're not directly saying, hey, right now we're going to start busting, but they are doing it and going through all the moves, and they are obviously a target. Yeah.
Yeah, let's just be honest. You don't fuck with governments and militaries, and you get away with it usually. You're going to be challenged.
Yeah, as long as you stick to celebrity news or whatever they kind of feed you. Small leaks of people that they don't like or they're trying to get rid of, or have a
cat
political
videos
sway one way or another. Yeah, those you're allowed to talk. You're allowed to
pictures of the food on your plate. Yeah.
Well, we even start, when there's something that they want to, and if it's something that they want to use, we said the Venezuela thing. If it's a picture of them, trying to push a false flag of them running over protesters, oh God, you can share that everywhere. You will not be censored at all. If you share the truth of them stealing the truck to run over protesters, that's censored immediately. Right? So as long as you're willing to play along and post the propaganda, all of that, you pretty much have free reign.
You got to send me that video because I didn't see it.
I'll send it. Yeah, I'll post it in the comments as well. We post a lot. I mean, it's kind of, if you're not watching it right away, it can get lost between news stories, really.
Yeah, I gotta actually keep up more with the chat.
Oh.
Yeah, we get sometimes I go through afterward and try to talk to people or comment in there. I don't always get a chance to do it when we're on.
No. I meant our own personal chat.
Oh, there's so much in there. I'll go and 3-4 times a day just scroll through to catch up on everybody's conversation. But
it's a good collection of hate speech.
Political satire, hacking news, it's all in there.
I mean, if they're ever going to use something against us, that would be it.
They don't think they even know where to start. Yeah, I said it. And what?
I mean, you basically gave him a reason to ban because you said the N-word earlier. So, I mean, and then
come on,
Tyler. Tyler earlier was talking about how to build a bomb.
First of all, I would love them. I would love them to ban a black man on TV, right? To censor me for saying the N-word.
They did that to Michael Jackson. Remember that when he was doing one video and then they took it off?
No, he gets a pass for it because he's of that race.
Yeah, exactly.
Isn't this known on the street? I mean, hey, I'm a white guy. I know this. You don't use. It's okay for you guys to say certain words, but I can't.
Yeah,
even I know that.
Everybody knows that. Yeah, so I mean, I would know the lawsuit that would entail. I think would be worth it. Yeah, I
So
think it's
you would
racist.
sue
I think it's-
YouTube.
I think it's I'll sue YouTube for being racist. I think it's racist for you not to let me say the word. What do you think about that?
It's a minority rights issue.
Yeah. So I mean, especially in fuck. What was? Oh, that was because what? That was over the Road Warrior.
What the fuck is
freaking
that?
out with anti-Semitic
Somebody's hoovering over there, and I won't say what because I don't know.
No, we've been censored, we've been banned, we will be censored and banned again. I don't think if you guys don't know, you'll just go to the next ABB page, just like you did with this one.
Hey, we'll be over there in the darknet
It's
with
a constant juggling
what is it?
act.
Stormwatch or whatever.
Yeah.
Daily Stormer.
I think, Daily Stormer. Yeah, I don't know.
They're warming up the darknet over there. We'll be with them soon.
They're
a matter of
warming up
time.
the dark bed.
Yeah, it's dark. You got to warm it up, turn the lights on.
Turn the lights on. Whoa!
No telling what you're gonna find.
You are gonna. There's a lot of people gonna be a lot of trouble when you turn the lights in on that place.
Where are we supposed to go? Well, see, if you fuck up the ClearNet, what is there left? By definition,
Well, I mean,
Yeah,
I think that they will force people to make a open and free internet in the same way that they've, that it's happened in every other industry that they've tried this heavy-handed tactic with on YouTube or on social media. This isn't the first time that they've tried to fuck up the internet, to fuck up, sharing, all of it, and it's never worked. It always ends up getting worse.
Yeah, because what happens in real life? If a market gets
sleeping,
it's hoovering.
I don't know.
Hoovering his desk.
Yeah, he's hoovering his desk. He's just making sure it's clean. Checking the inside of his eyelids. Safety check.
Who fell asleep?
Who fell?
And this was a lively one as well. Like, yeah,
We got to
this
make
was
the
a
last
lively
20
one the
minutes.
whole
We're
time.
in the bottom of the ninth.
14 minutes. Actually, 13.
You can't fall asleep, but it's like it's 8 o'clock in the morning here. How can I be awake then?
Not be.
If we had $1 for every time somebody fell asleep on this show,
Micro.
Well, because we go till exhaustion. If you guys knew the amount of times that I fall asleep on my fucking keyboard, it's ridiculous. Like,
Yeah,
what's worse
it's
is
so
when you're in
great
the
when
chat
you
room
wake
and
up
you
with
start-
that
you start-
implanted right there on your face. WSAD.
and then you're
Oh,
posting
right
on
down your
Twitter
face.
XQRT on Twitter and be like, dude, he fell asleep on the keyboard.
Oh yeah, I'll be in the middle of sending a message to someone, and I'll look at it in the next morning and be like, "What was I trying to say with this? I know I was going somewhere. I must have fell asleep halfway through this message and just kept typing." But you figure, look, if you could just, contact one more person, if you could just make one more connection, if you could just get one more truth, news story out or find out the right information, then you could, change the direction or help somebody or, help get out the truth. And fuck, we do it till exhaustion every day. And work jobs on top of it. You know what I mean? On top of all of that. So yeah, the amount of times I fall asleep on my fucking keyboard is terrible.
We ain't like these e-beggars that are out there on YouTube and Facebook with all this nonsense. Donate to my whatever, and then I'll be able to drive someplace and do something. It's like, yeah, whatever, man.
Yeah.
We gotta be able to
Cut this e-begging out.
Oh yeah, hey, look,
That's
give
what I
us
call it.
it's the Ed Higgins thing, right? Just give me $800, and then I can drive somewhere and give somebody $100, right? That's win. That's when you can pay for my flea vacation, and I can almost help somebody, or I can live stream someone else helping somebody.
That's a win-win. That's a win-win.
Why can't I just give it to the person that's actually doing the work? That sounds like a win. I remember
Always the man in the middle.
with them once. They're like, "Oh, we're so tired." I'm like, "Guys, we're like 4 hours for what we're doing. We'll just pull over on the side of the road. Sleep in the pickup. We'll be there in the fucking morning, and we can get to work." Nah, we need to spend like $300 on a fucking hotel room and go out to eat and fucking the works. And I thought, God, you guys are no different than the monster nonprofits. Like, in the money that you spent, you could have helped 100 more people. But nah, I guess you're too good to sleep in your pickup.
And when I went to their office, like, everybody was just smoking pot, and I was just like, what? Like, you guys are serious?
That's the millennial workforce, man.
Like, I was like,
that's how you get it done.
Yeah, that was like the first like job interview where I was just like, fuck this. I'm not sure if there's any command structure here.
Wait, what was this?
I was gonna get a job at Greenpeace, and they called me down for an interview, and I went into the office, and everybody in the office was smoking weed, and so I just left. I was like, I don't really take this job seriously.
Oh, fuck, man! I would have dropped a thing of fucking cookies in the other room and taken over, like, right at that point.
Man,
Who's in charge here?
Tyler, you could have got.
All right, then I'm in charge.
Yeah, I mean, you get paid, and you could have smoked.
Oh, I remember fucking Greenpeace.
Well, mostly what they were doing is that they were getting people to squander money for the Save the Whales shit. And then and I was like, dude, aren't I gonna go out there and like do cool shit? And they're like, no, you're just gonna fucking go out there and collect
fundraise.
And I was like, wait, when does the cool stuff part happen? And I was like,
they don't do cool stuff, man. My work
the cool stuff.
My work with Greenpeace was fucking stupid, man. They haven't done anything since the 80s. And like, they came to Standing Rock, brought this giant like solar truck, parked it, right? Locked it with the keys inside, and then just disappeared.
That sounds about right.
We locked it with the keys inside.
Like, the keys just locked in the ignition, fucking in the truck, right? No manual, just dropped this solar truck off and walked away. And then we called up what we were, for the year we were at Standing Rock. We called them once a fucking week. Can we just get the keys so that we can use this thing? Could never get a hold of anybody. I think the whole like solar generator truck is probably in police lockup because it was there. Like, nobody could move it.
Lockup. They towed a solar truck.
Yeah, there was.
Well, that's what happens when you have a whole fucking operation run by a bunch of retards who are smoking pot at the highest level.
Yeah, like nobody. Like, I got there and there was like nobody knew how to use it, how to run it. I'm like, where did this truck come from? Oh, Greenpeace dropped it off. Who at Greenpeace dropped it off? Right? Nothing. They just dropped it off and go away.
Oh, dude,
maybe that was the plot. That might have been the plot.
No,
so they charge the police to be able to fucking tow it.
That
You
was
could have
the
at least left the door
truck.
unlocked.
It was a surveillance truck. It had all the gear packed in it. You guys didn't even know it.
Didn't even realize it. No, they had They had like a bicycle like generator that a hippie brought by that was powering the communication systems because the like 1,000,000-watt solar generator truck that we had, nobody would give us the fucking keys for. Thanks, Greenpeace. Boy, we'd sure like to have some power in the middle of the winter.
How much did it cost the police to actually have it towed? That's the question. I mean, that might have been the goal.
I think
Millions.
Tiger Swan probably broke the window and drove it home like they did with all the other equipment.
Broke the window and drove it home.
Well, and that's
I guess they could have if the keys are in there, right?
And that's if it didn't go over there to Chief Archambault's special lockup, so buildings that he wouldn't let you in with all the boxes of stuff that they never went through. Oh man, did you see that? It was like a basketball little
it's a
stadium.
warehouse.
Stacked, dude. Stacked with brand new stuff in the box that never got opened. You're like, fuck, unbelievable,
There was certain parts like in the community center, and it was like there's 10 people at the community center. There was like we didn't have anything to do with it. Like how to even get rid of it. And then like there was 2 or 3 18-wheelers filled with UPS shit. that the cops just paid for UPS not to deliver, so they just parked the truck somewhere out in the fucking middle of North Dakota or South Dakota and drove off. That was a win.
4.
Yeah. Oh, there was shit, man. It was there were quite a few parts of that were a shit show.
Oh man, unbelievable amounts. I'd never seen that much stuff coming in. It was unbelievable. The loose cash that is in this country that can just be wasted and thrown at stuff like this. It was unbelievable.
Yeah, and mishandled on every way possible. I mean, there's so much. This stuff that breaks my heart because just. You look at the church, the church burning, $20 million, $1 billion in a weekend, right? $1 billion for this, $1 billion for that, $20 million for a wall, $20 million for this, $20 million. And it's like, you can never, ever find, like, all of that money. None of y'all could ever fix fucking veterans' homelessness, right? Children's homelessness, like nothing, right? $1 billion raised for a church. Haiti still doesn't have people in Haiti still don't have anywhere to live. Like, how much is the Clinton Foundation? $55 billion? Still, Haiti doesn't have any fucking houses. Puerto Rico don't have fucking power.
Well, you see the problem
just wasted.
The problem that you have is that the Clinton Foundation is not a charity foundation. It's a slush fund.
For grifters.
Yeah, but I dig that.
Yeah.
I dig that. But then after you know about it, right? Like, what has stopped anybody, right? Us, like, it's not like we have, we don't give it a go like everybody else, but like, what stopped people from just coming together and fucking doing it? All right, the Clinton Foundation's gonna fuck you over, right? Don't use them. Like, there's nobody that we can trust to do this. All you need is a GoFundMe. I got $1 billion in my GoFundMe. There's pretty much, I could do anything. And I mean anything to, like, help the people. I mean, end veterans homelessness tomorrow. I will buy the house.
But you're not
done.
You're not one of the boys in the big club.
Okay,
you don't get to do that.
Yeah, okay, that's the deal. You don't get to do that because my thing is like, okay, fuck them.
No, you don't. Yeah. You see what they
Everybody
do, like
puts in
the
$10
wall,
and we just finish it.
Yeah, they were going to build, the wall, out of everybody's GoFundMe, and I had to shut that motherfucker down. It's like, whoa, wait a minute, these guys, you're racking up some serious money quick here. We can't have that.
Yeah, it started making other people
you.
look really bad.
Yeah, so GoFundMe, you can tell. Well, they're compromised operation right there.
Yeah, and look, I understand. You can't put it like my thing. I had no problem with people raising for the money. In fact, I think that's probably the best way to pay for the fucking wall. You want it, you pay for it, right?
Yeah.
Go nuts. You can build that on all the private property you want. Go nuts. But nah, it was a scam. Like, even the guy that was doing it was a scam. Like, that wasn't even real.
Like, here's the thing. When they build the wall, I mean, what do they think? That they're not going to use dynamite or explosives to blow the wall and then walk under it?
Why,
or
do you
dig
not
under
want
it?
them to? If you had a contracting company to maintain this wall, right, once it's built, that contract's over. If somebody goes and blows a hole in it every couple of months, I get to rebuild that wall. Pay up, sucker.
Well, they
never stopped anybody.
If you're a contractor maintaining and building that wall, the best thing that could happen is that people destroy it. Now we got to rebuild it. It's going to cost you a lot, man.
Because they're going to hit it in the middle of nowhere. So you have to walk all the way out there.
Yeah, it's like the tunnels that run from Mexico into California. Like, do they think that those aren't going to
Actually,
exist
some
anymore?
of those go pretty far inland. You know what I mean? Like, on both ends.
So by now, yeah. I mean,
by now, I'm sure they're halfway to
all right,
Canada.
90 seconds, guys.
We got a boring machine in there.
Yeah, I'm sure. Sure, get the guys from Tesla at it, man. They got those automatic boring machines.
All right. Don't forget to spay and neuter all politicians. You have to throw that in there right off the bat.
Oh, that is the coolest saying of all time. We got to get T-shirts made with spay and neuter your fucking politicians. I will wear that to the next Senate hearing.
That's a winner.
And we'll be same time, same place, and I'll roll it with the credits.
Yeah, done.
Done.
I hereby declare this to be an unlawful assembly.